Don't move, look at the light. What? Victor was confused when he saw a female military doctor shining a small flashlight in front of his eyes. Wasn't he watching a movie in the dormitory? Why was he suddenly in a dark place full of iron boxes? And why was this female military doctor a foreigner? He did not remember there being any foreigners in the school medical office. How many fingers am I holding up? The female military doctor asked, raising her hand. 3. Although Victor was puzzled, he still answered correctly. What's your name? Victor. He's fine, no amnesia. Seeing that Victor could accurately identify her fingers and remember his own name, the female military doctor judged that he was fine and immediately stood up. Amnesia? Victor became even more confused. What was going on with these people? Why were they all foreigners? Fortunately, he had done well in English at school, otherwise he would not have understood what they were saying. Like her. The female military doctor stepped aside, revealing a beautiful woman in red behind her. Alice. The moment Victor saw the woman, his body trembled. He was far too familiar with her. Wasn't she Alice, the heroine from the Resident Evil movies? Why was she here? Ah, do you know me? Alice's head throbbed. She covered it for a moment, only then realizing that she was indeed called Alice, just as Victor had said. She was confused. She had not even remembered her own name a moment ago, so how could this Eastern man call it out so easily? It's over. The moment Alice regained her memory, Victor immediately understood that he had crossed over. Even worse, he had crossed into the Resident Evil hive. The biochemical gas had leaked here, and all the employees had turned into zombies. This special forces team might look powerful, but they were not prepared to face zombies. Victor remembered that in the end, only 2 people escaped from the laboratory, and even after escaping, they were captured by the Umbrella Corporation. For an ordinary person to travel into such a dangerous place was no different from walking toward death. What about the other staff? Captain James asked suspiciously. Everyone is dead except me, Victor replied. Hearing this, Victor knew that these people had mistaken him for a survivor. But since this was the hive, how could anyone still be alive? How did they die? What happened here? Captain James asked again. They had only been hired to investigate what had happened and search for survivors. They did not know the truth. The virus leaked. The Red Queen sealed the entire base and everyone was poisoned to death. Victor did not hide anything and directly told them what he knew. Then why are you still alive? One soldier asked suspiciously. I hid here and the virus didn't spread into this room, Victor said with a shrug. Sir, no poisonous gas has been detected in this room, the female military doctor said after testing the air with her instrument for a long time. Strange. Restaurant B should be here according to the map, Chad said, looking at the layout. The map clearly showed a restaurant here, but no matter how he looked at it, this place did not look like one. These boxes contain locked-up liquors. This is their restaurant, Victor said, recalling the plot. Liquors, what are those? Alice asked, puzzled. Genetically mutated monsters that kill without hesitation. They're extremely dangerous. Victor did not hide the truth and warned them bluntly. Ha ha ha, have you watched too many horror stories, liquors? Monsters that kill without blinking. Captain, I think Victor must have been frightened so badly that something is wrong with his mind. After listening to Victor, the Special Forces soldiers around him laughed. Although they did not know what was being researched in this laboratory, they did not believe there were any genetically mutated monsters here. This employee must have been traumatized by something. His mind clearly was not normal. You're going to shut down the Red Queen, aren't you? Victor asked when he saw that no one believed him. So what? A soldier replied. The Red Queen has sealed the entire base. Once you shut her down, everything sealed inside will be released and we will all die here. Although Victor knew his words were not convincing, he still reminded them kindly because he wanted to leave alive. We're here to save people. Releasing them is exactly what we should do, a soldier said. Those people have been infected by the virus and turned into zombies that feed on the living. You can't save them even if you let them out. It's better to leave now without touching anything, Victor explained seriously, hoping they would return the way they came. Once they shut down the Red Queen, it would be too late. Enough. JD, you and Rain stay here to guard the prisoner and the survivor. If he keeps talking nonsense or tries to leave the exit, shoot him directly. Everyone else form up, maintain your distance, and move out. Since there is one survivor, there may be others. Captain James harshly interrupted Victor's warning. They were here to save people. Yet this rescued person not only refused to help search for survivors, but even made up nonsense about zombies to hinder their mission. He had to stop that behavior. If Victor continued to obstruct them, James did not mind letting him taste a bullet. In the end, Captain James ignored the warning and continued deeper into the hive. Victor knew this man was destined to die in the laser corridor, but since he was not allowed to speak, what could he do? Us. Victor understood that these people would not cry until they saw the coffin. They could not be persuaded. He could only sigh in his heart. My God, if you wanted me to travel to the apocalypse, fine, but why didn't you give me some kind of golden finger? These soldiers are about to release the zombies. They will get people killed. Just as Victor lamented that he was going to die in the underground hive, a system prompt sounded. Ding, Magneto's gene is being activated. Congratulations, host. Magneto's gene has been successfully activated. Level 1st tier. Victor was overjoyed when he heard that he had activated Magneto's gene from X-Men. He knew it. The system might be late, but it would never be absent. Magneto's true ability was to control magnetic fields in any form. At its peak, it could even reverse a planet's geomagnetism and destroy the world. It was only because metal had excellent magnetic permeability that metal became the easiest material for this ability to control. In the apocalypse, the one thing never lacking was metal. In this hive, most of the walls were made of metal. This place could be called his home field. With this ability, he would at least be able to protect himself when he encountered zombies. Hey, JD, can you give me a gun? Seeing Captain James and the others move farther away, Victor felt uneasy. Most people would have tried to persuade the female Special Forces soldier beside him, but Victor knew Rain was not easy to talk to. JD seemed more approachable, so he spoke to JD, who was guarding him. Why do you want a gun? JD asked, puzzled. Your captain is going to release all the zombies. I need a gun to protect myself, Victor said frankly. Judging by the timing, the zombies would soon come out. He needed a weapon to defend himself. Do you want to eat a bullet? Rain, who was standing nearby, heard the conversation. She slowly walked over and aimed her gun at Victor. The captain's order was clear. If Victor kept talking nonsense and confusing everyone, she did not mind shooting him directly. Click, click, click. At that moment, the surrounding lights suddenly dimmed, then began flickering continuously. If you won't give me one, then don't blame me for finding my own weapon, Victor thought. He knew the Red Queen had been shut down. While the lights flickered, he quietly took the dagger from Rain's waist. When the lights came back on, he acted as if nothing had happened. He did not want to put his life entirely in other people's hands. HMPH. You'd better not try anything. Rain's instincts were sharp. Although she did not notice that her dagger had been stolen, she sensed that something was wrong with Victor. Before she could think further, the sound of metal falling came from behind her. I'm going to check it out. Rain heard the sound, chambered around, and walked toward it. Clang. Rain had not gone far when she saw an empty can rolling across the ground, making a harsh scraping sound. She turned the corner and saw a woman standing there, staggering as if she were in terrible condition. Rain immediately turned back and said, JD, I found a survivor. Okay, we're here to save people. You look seriously injured. Ah. Seeing that the woman was in bad shape, Rain hurriedly put away her rifle and walked toward her, wanting to help. However, just as Rain approached, the woman suddenly raised her head and bit directly at her neck. Rain had not expected the woman to attack so wildly. She hurriedly blocked with her hands. The woman did not hesitate. She opened her mouth and bit down hard on Rain's palm. Rain screamed and was thrown to the ground. Although Rain was a woman, she was still a powerful Special Forces soldier. Yet after being caught by the woman, she could not push her away at all. When JD heard the commotion, he rushed forward to help. Together, the two of them finally pushed the crazed woman away. She bit me? Damn it, she bit off a big piece of flesh. Rain got up from the ground, covered her injured hand, and cursed. That damned woman was completely insane. She had actually bitten her. Quack, quack. The crazed woman rose from the ground again. Get down, I'm warning you, get down, JD. Immediately aimed his gun at the woman and warned her. However, the woman had already been infected and turned into a zombie. She did not care about his warning at all and kept walking toward him with bared teeth and clawing hands. I'm warning you, I mean it. JD continued to warn her. Quack, quack. The woman ignored him completely and continued toward him. Damn you. After repeated warnings failed, JD pulled the trigger. Because he did not want to kill her, he chose to shoot her in the thigh. Bang. The shot struck the woman's thigh. Quack, quack. Even after being hit in the leg, the woman did not stop. She continued pouncing toward JD. Bang, bang, bang. JD fired several more shots into her thigh and stomach, but the woman still did not stop. She kept charging at him. Damn it. JD was frightened. What was wrong with this woman? How could she keep moving after being shot so many times? This could no longer be described as madness. After all, even a lunatic would have fallen after being shot in the leg. But this woman had taken several shots in a row and was only moving faster. She was about to pounce on him. At that moment, it was too late for him to dodge. He could only watch as the crazed woman opened her mouth and lunged for his neck. Whoosh, puff, just as the woman was about to bite JD's neck, a cold light flashed. A dagger flew through the air and accurately pierced the woman's head. Boom. The crazed woman
Hey everyone, welcome to FanFic Canon. Thanks for hitting play. I'm thrilled to bring this fan-made story to life for you. If you enjoy the ride and want more narrated fanfics, smash, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you want audiobook of a novel of your choice, join my Patreon. Request any title that's freely available online, and I'll produce a full narration just for you. Now, let's dive into today's adventure.
stopped moving and collapsed to the ground. The one who had acted was none other than Victor. They would have to face a zombie horde later. One more person meant one more chance of survival, so he chose to make a move. This metal control ability was truly useful. Under normal circumstances, he definitely would not have been able to kill a zombie with a thrown dagger. Whether he could even hit the target would have been a problem. But after activating Magneto's gene, the dagger felt like part of his own body and could be controlled at will. The throwing motion just now had only been a feint to deceive the others. In reality, he had directly controlled the dagger and stabbed the zombie to death. After the zombie fell, the system prompt sounded in Victor's mind. Ding, congratulations, host, you killed an ordinary zombie and gained 10 points. System, what are these points used for? Victor asked in confusion. Points can be used to upgrade your ability level. The higher the level, the stronger your ability and control over electromagnetic force. The current level cap is level 6. Level 1, control small amounts of metal such as changing bullet trajectories and controlling daggers. Level 2, control large amounts of metal and reshape metal. Level 3, control electromagnetic spectrum energy, including monitoring electromagnetic communication, stealth, night vision, wall penetration, X-ray vision, and temporary magnetization of diamagnetic materials. Level 4, control the planet's magnetic field and charge cells, allowing planetary magnetic shields, limitless magnetic field combat, and near indestructibility. Level 5, comprehend unified field theory, becoming immune to energy attacks, controlling gravity, reversing a planet's magnetic field, and destroying a planet. Level 6, creation level, you can deconstruct and synthesize all elements and create all things. Damn, that's incredible. How many points do I need to upgrade to level 2? Victor asked. 1000 points. So if I want to level up, I still need to kill 99 more zombies, Victor said. Yes. The system's answer was as concise as ever. What a fast-flying knife. What a precise throw. Rain, standing to the side, saw the crazed woman fall. Her beautiful eyes widened and her face filled with shock and disbelief. Victor had been nearly 10 meters away from them. Throwing a dagger from such a distance and killing that crazed woman so precisely was simply unbelievable. Others might not know how difficult it was to throw a dagger accurately, but as a Special Forces soldier, Rain had trained with them. A dagger was one of the hardest weapons to master. At such a distance, even she could not do it, yet this seemingly ordinary Victor had done it. Could he be stronger than Special Forces soldiers like them? Who exactly was Victor? Amazing. Matt, who was standing beside Victor, was also stunned. He had been right next to Victor and had watched him throw the dagger with his own eyes. Victor's throwing posture had not looked standard at all, and the force he used did not seem great. However, that seemingly weak throw had not only been accurate but had killed with one strike. Forgive Matt's limited knowledge, but he had never seen anything like it. My God, you actually killed her. JD was still dazed. Seeing the woman fall dead, he looked at Victor with dissatisfaction. Although JD had fired his gun, he had been trying to avoid her vital organs. Victor, on the other hand, had ended it with one knife straight through the head. I saved your life and this is how you thank me, Victor said, spreading his hands. Thanks. JD recalled the crisis just now. If the woman had bitten him, it would have been his neck. Although he still felt it was wrong for Victor to kill, Victor had done it to save him. He really should not blame him. After hesitating, he thanked Victor. That's my dagger. When did you steal my dagger? Rain asked, staring at the dagger in the corpse. The dagger looked very familiar. Wasn't it hers? How had Victor gotten it? You should worry about yourself. People bitten by zombies will be infected with the virus and become zombies that only know how to bite people. You're already infected, so it won't be long before you become a zombie too. After Victor finished speaking, he pointed at the woman's corpse on the ground. Haha, you think I'm scared? This woman was just crazy. She wasn't one of the zombies you mentioned at all. Even now, Rain still did not believe that zombies really existed in this world. Naturally, she did not believe Victor's words. She still thought the woman had merely gone insane. Suit yourself. If someone else did not care about her own life, why should he, an outsider, worry for her? If she did not believe him, then she did not believe him. She would understand once the virus took effect. Tap, tap, tap. At that moment, the technician Chad ran over after hearing the gunfire and asked in confusion, "What's going on? Why did you shoot?" Behind Chad were Alice and Spence, who was dressed in red. "We found a survivor," Rain said while treating her wound. "So you shot her." Chad was stunned. What was going on here? If they had found an enemy, shooting would make sense. But what kind of operation was this, shooting after finding a survivor? "She was a lunatic, she bit me, and we didn't kill her, he did," Rain said angrily. They were human too. The survivor here had gone mad and attacked them, so of course they had opened fire. And this lunatic had not been shot to death, she had been killed by Victor with a dagger. "Damn it, you really aren't an ordinary employee. Tell me, why did you kill the survivor?" Chad demanded, drawing his gun and aiming it at Victor. He had felt something was wrong from the beginning. He should have realized it sooner. How could an Eastern man be recruited into such a secret laboratory? This was clearly abnormal. "Look at her blood," Victor said helplessly. These people simply did not believe there was a virus in this world that could turn people into zombies. No matter how much he explained, it would be useless. It was better to show them the evidence directly. "Look at the wound." "It's bleeding, but not much," Alice said. Alice had only just returned, so she could not tell who was right or wrong. She stepped forward to check and found that the corpse's blood was abnormal. "It seems to have clotted," Matt said. Matt, who was handcuffed, had noticed a bunch of keys on the ground. They had fallen when Rain was fighting the woman. He deliberately walked over, squatted down to check the body, and agreed with Alice. While speaking, he quietly grabbed the key from the ground when no one was paying attention. "Yes," Alice said, "but that's impossible," Matt continued. "What do you mean?" JD asked, still confused. "Blood doesn't clot before death," Matt explained after successfully getting the key. "What? That's impossible. She attacked Rain and me just now. I watched Victor kill her with a dagger. Are you telling me she was already dead?" JD asked, stunned by Matt's words. What the hell was he talking about? If this woman's blood had clotted, didn't that mean she had died a long time ago? How was that possible? She had attacked Rain just now and had been killed by Victor with a dagger. Now they were telling him this woman had died before Victor killed her. Then who had they been fighting just now? A ghost? Wasn't that insane? What the hell is going on? Is he the murderer or not? Chad was also confused. Hadn't they said Victor had killed a survivor? How had it turned into the survivor being dead before Victor killed her? Victor had killed a dead person. How could someone kill the dead? What kind of joke was this? "Can I leave now?" Spence asked. He had personally watched a team of special soldiers get cut into pieces in the laser corridor. He did not care whether the survivor had died before or after being killed. This place was too strange, and it was best to leave quickly. "We can't go anywhere until the rest of the squad arrives," Rain said as she finished bandaging her wound and picked up her rifle. This place was indeed strange, but many of their teammates had not returned yet. Leave? Where could they go? After hearing Rain's words, Chad, Alice, and Spence looked at one another. Their expressions became ugly. "No one is coming," Chad finally said. The captain had taken the others to shut down the Red Queen, and they had all died in the laser corridor. Only a few of them were left now. "What exactly are you talking about?" Rain asked. Rain did not know that their captain, the medical staff, and the other team members had all been killed by the laser corridor. Hearing this, she became furious and wanted to step forward and hit Chad. "Wait, quiet." Seeing the two about to argue, JD stepped forward to stop the impulsive Rain and signaled for everyone to be silent. Everyone stopped arguing. Ding. The sound of an axe dragging along the ground came from the distance. It grew closer and closer, echoing through the quiet environment and making everyone uneasy. Before long, a swaying figure appeared. One of his feet was clearly broken, but he could still stagger forward. Dragging an axe in his hand, he stumbled toward them. Quack, quack. As the axe man appeared, many roars sounded from all around. The voices were clearly human, but they sounded like two rusted iron pieces grinding together. They were indescribably terrifying. The employees who had turned into zombies began appearing one after another, gathering around them on a large scale. Some had even lost half their heads, yet they could still move. "Damn it, don't come any closer. They're behind us, God, they're everywhere. We're surrounded." Everyone looked at the swaying figures, their hearts trembling. Although they had not believed zombies existed in this world, they were horrified when they saw so many swaying figures with obviously abnormal behavior. Roar! A zombie pounced directly at Rain and tried to bite her neck. This time, Rain reacted in time and decisively snapped the zombie's neck before it could bite her. Bang! Rain was the first to fire at the rushing zombies. One shot knocked a zombie to the ground. However, the next moment, the person she had knocked down stood up again as if nothing had happened and continued walking toward the group. I said back off. Chad, who originally aimed the muzzle at Victor, had to aim the muzzle at the zombies rushing toward him. Bang, bang. Rat-a-tat-tat, Seeing that the warning was ineffective, the nearby soldiers raised their guns and fired. Not to mention how fierce the firepower was, it knocked the zombies down one by one. You can't handle them, give me a gun. Victor saw that these special forces opened fire like idiots. Knowing that these people were unreliable, he hurriedly told Chad, "What? No, you are a suspicious person and we have handled it." Hearing this, Chad directly rejected Victor's request. This Victor is a suspicious person. Whether he killed the woman or not is still undecided. Give you a gun? Wouldn't that put them in danger? And these crazy people have already been handled and Victor was not needed in the fight. Solution? Are you kidding me? Victor watched the battle of these special forces as if he were watching idiots. If faced with a human attack, there is no problem with these people's strafing. But for zombies, such an attack does almost no damage. Roar. Sure enough, after a while, the fallen zombies had already stood up again. They continued to pounce on the group. Damn, how did they die? Alice looked at the zombies who had been knocked down and then stood up and continued to charge as if nothing had happened with a puzzled expression. These people were obviously hit. Why were they okay? Matt didn't care about this. His hands kept working behind his back trying to unlock the cuffs with the key. At this time, anyone could see that these special forces cannot protect them. How is this possible? I hit them. I obviously hit them. Chad looked at the zombies who got up in disbelief. He clearly shot them. Why did these people seem to have immortality but they came back to life? This is totally unscientific. Rat-a-tat-tat, roar, rat-a-tat-tat, roar. Every time the zombie got up and approached, Chad forced it backward. However, no matter how he fired and tore into the zombie, that thing just would not stop. It terrified him. Give me the gun if you don't want to die. Victor, who was on the side, saw the zombies getting closer and closer and spoke to Chad seriously again. Here. Chad saw that the situation could not be controlled and the zombies were about to rush to the front. In a panic, he opened a pistol safety and threw it to Victor. Now that the situation is severe, he has no choice but to count as many people as he can. Crack. Victor caught the pistol and felt the metallic feeling on it. Every fighting instinct in his body seemed to awaken. This was his first exposure to firearms, and that feeling was really, really good. Roar. Taking advantage of the moment when Chad threw the pistol to Victor, a zombie suddenly rushed towards Chad. Those sharp nails, that open mouth. If you let it fall, you will definitely be bitten to death. It's over. Chad turned his head and looked at the bloody mouth that kept approaching. He regretted that it was too late to hide. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't throw weapons at Victor. This is good. I'm going to be bitten to death by this lunatic. Just when Chad thought he was going to die here, Victor, who got the pistol, directly raised the muzzle and shot at the zombie that rushed up. Bang. A gunshot sounded, and a bullet flew out of the pistol with a hot muzzle flash and shot the zombie straight on. But because this is the first time Victor has used a pistol, the aiming is not good. The shot was clearly missed. If the bullet continues to move forward, it must only pass by the head of the zombie. However, a strange scene appeared. The originally deviated bullet actually corrected the flight trajectory during the flight, turned back directly, and slammed into the zombie's brow. This is exactly the benefit of the Victor Magneto Gene, which can control metals. Even if it is a bullet that leaves the barrel, as long as it is metal, he can change its trajectory. Puff. The zombie hadn't reacted yet and was instantly shot in the head by Victor and collapsed. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Ah, don't bite me, don't bite. Hey, dead. Chad screamed in horror, thinking he was going to be bitten to death by these lunatics. It turned out that the lunatic who couldn't be beaten to death was killed by Victor with one shot. He turned his head and looked at Victor in disbelief. He didn't understand. He had fired several rounds of bullets, but he couldn't stop this lunatic. How could Victor stop her with one shot? Roar. A zombie jumped up again. Victor raised his hand and shot at the rushing zombie again. Bang. Under the control of Victor's metal, the bullet accurately penetrated the head of the zombie. Bang, the zombie was powerless to fall. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Roar, more zombies poured in from that passage. With so many zombies, even Chad, who was a special forces soldier, felt his scalp tingle, not to mention Alice and Matt. However, in the face of so many zombies, Victor had a pistol in his hand and was not worried at all. Instead, the corners of his mouth rose, showing excitement. In the eyes of others, these are terrifying monsters, but in the eyes of Victor, these are points, the points that he has become stronger. Bang, 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 bang. Victor was not afraid. He raised his pistol and used it as a rifle. He didn't even aim and opened fire at the rushing zombies. Anyway, his metal control can modify the bullet trajectory and hit accurately. In this case, as long as the approximate direction is correct, it can hit the target head 100%. Aiming right is not so important, so a terrifying scene appeared. Victor kept shooting and the rushing zombies kept getting headshots. Directly make everyone around you look stupid. Mumbling, "My god, is this Victor a god of guns?" It turned out to be a headshot with a gun. It's impossible, even a special soldier can't do it with a headshot. Is he using a pistol to kill the enemy? Why do I have the idea that he is not using a pistol but a rifle? Crazy, just crazy, either I'm crazy or the world is crazy. A small pistol actually exerted the power of a rifle in his hand, which was absolutely incredible. What the hell did he come from to be so terrifying? Chad, Alice, Matt, Spence, Rain, and others watched Victor slaughter the zombies with a pistol, and they were all stupid. All of them opened their mouths wide, their eyes widened, with shock and disbelief on their faces. They are not ordinary people, but because of this they feel the horror of Victor. These zombies, they can't handle any kind of soldiers. Victor crushes all the zombies with a small pistol. Crazy, this is just crazy. As Victor continued to fire, zombies were killed and points were added to him. In a short time, Victor's points reached 130 points. Click, click, click. Although Victor's metal control and firearms work perfectly, creating his terrifying lethality. But that pistol is a pistol after all, with limited ammunition. It won't last long at all, and all 12 rounds of ammunition will be fired very quickly. Roar. Those zombies can ignore this and continue to come one after another, not afraid to die at all. Facing such an army of zombies, Victor was also helpless. Go, let's go. Rain also saw that they were going to die here. Without the captain, she acted as the captain and directly ordered the retreat. Rat-a-tat-tat, bang 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 bang. Others also fought and retreated, but the attack method was still crazy. It's not that they don't want to learn Victor to shoot headshots, but although they have good marksmanship, they have rifles in their hands, not sniper rifles. Without Victor's metal control, it would be impossible to shoot headshots. Only try to use the number to start the position. This effect is better than just right, and you can do a few headshots, but the side effects are also obvious, directly punching out big holes in the surrounding experimental tanks. Hell, watch out for the experimental tank. Seeing that these people were still shooting, Victor hurriedly reminded them, however it was still a step too late. Beep beep, bang, an experimental tank was continuously attacked and exploded directly. Terrifying flames and explosion shock waves swept all directions. Alice smelled the reminder, and the moment she turned around, she saw the experimental tank explode. She wanted to hide, but it was too late. Be careful. Seeing this, Victor didn't hesitate. He rushed over and knocked her down. The terrifying flame passed directly above the two of them, and the impact of the explosion directly overturned the two of them, and a large number of fragments passed them by. Bang! In the end, the two smashed directly into an experimental tank. Boil. Victor only felt the back hit. The pain was unbearable. Just as he was about to react, Alice stuck it up in the impact inertia and kissed Victor directly. Bang! In an instant, the two of them roared in their minds, as if there were countless thunders passing by. When Alice was kissing Victor, a memory fragment emerged. It seemed to be outside and there were a lot of statues. Apparently, the neurotoxin side effects in her body were gradually passing, and her memory began to recover when stimulated. And Victor was a little confused. He never thought that he would be forcefully kissed by Alice. I have to say that Alice is indeed a beautiful woman, and it is not an exaggeration to say that she is exotic. As a secret agent, she has nothing to say about her figure, and her appearance is even peak. Being so close to such a beautiful woman felt incredible, but at this time his back hurt. One is pleasure in front and the other is pain in his back. Two completely opposite shocks made him wonder whether his state was good or bad or both. Go, let's go. Seeing that Victor and Alice were covered by a sea of fire, Rain thought they were dead, and without hesitation she took the others and continued to flee. With so many zombies around, they wouldn't go back for two dead people. But because of this, the sound of gunfire attracted a large number of zombies and rushed in their direction. Instead, Victor and Alice escaped. A long time after the explosion, all the zombies ran away and Alice came back to her senses. Seeing Victor close at hand, the agent's instinct made her turn over suddenly, pressed Victor down, twisted Victor's hand behind her back and shouted, "What are you doing?" Ow. It hurts, it's going to break if you twist it again. I saved your life, so you treat me like this. Victor's arm was twisted behind his back and he wailed. Mad, this female agent is good looking, but her skills are a little too fierce, so it's not easy to mess with. Ah, yes, sorry. Only then did Alice remember that Victor rescued her when the explosion occurred, and then she reacted and released Victor. But soon she was dissatisfied. But you shouldn't kiss me. Although Alice hasn't recovered her memory, she doesn't know if she has another man. However, he and Victor definitely just met. I kissed Victor as soon as I met her, so I can't blame her for such a reaction. Think about it again, who kisses who first? When Victor heard this, his face was innocent. He didn't do anything. You kissed him on your own initiative. Can you blame him? Where in the world is there such a thing? This. Cough. Let's get out of here first. Alice was reminded by Victor and found that although the inertia was difficult to control, it was indeed Victor who kissed her actively. This thing really can't blame Victor. As a woman, she naturally couldn't admit that she took the initiative to kiss a stranger and got up directly. Burying the shy emotions in his heart, he returned to the cold road. Hey, I was hurt for you, so you just left me like this. Seeing that Alice was leaving, Victor touched the lower back and said, "Okay, I'll help you." Alice hesitated for a while but still didn't make the decision to leave Victor and turned back to support Victor. Victor was also polite and put his arms around Alice's neck. The two found a direction and continued onward. I have to say that after genetic enhancement, Victor's physical recovery ability is much better than that of ordinary people. After walking for a while, he found that his back didn't hurt so much. Of course, even though he was able to walk by himself, Victor still enjoyed the feeling of being supported by the aloof Valkyrie, so he didn't tell Alice that he could walk by himself. The two continued to move forward and soon came to a room. Wrong. Victor was distracted when he suddenly saw a lot of iron cages beside him, and these iron cages seemed to be bitten open by something. Something rushed out of those iron cages. This immediately reminded him of zombie dogs. What else can monsters that can break through the iron cage other than zombie dogs? What's wrong? Alice didn't realize the danger yet. Seeing Victor stop, she asked with a puzzled look. Woo-woo. At this time, the roar of dogs also sounded behind them. Just this sound, needless to say, it is definitely a zombie dog. Now that there is no weapon, it will be troublesome to be targeted by this thing. Don't look back, run. Victor recalled the plot, knowing that there was a security room not far away, reminded Alice, and the two rushed forward together. Roar. Seeing the two escape, the zombie dog roared a few times in the sky, kicked all four, and charged directly towards Victor and Alice. Dogs were originally good at running. After the mutation, their running ability was strengthened and their charge speed was faster. 10 meters away, rushed to it in a blink of an eye. Roar. The zombie dog approached the two of them without any hesitation, glared with his legs on the ground, flew up, and rushed towards Victor. That zombie dog's bloody mouth opened to the limit, twice as big as the average dog. If this is bitten, it is estimated that half of the shoulder can be bitten off. Bang! However, at the moment when the zombie dog was about to bite Victor, a steel door slammed shut. Woo-woo. The unlucky zombie dog slammed directly into the iron gate and let out a few howls. After that, he continued to be brave and wanted to bite Victor and Alice. It's a pity that with this metal door, it can't bite the two people in the guard room at all. He could only stare at the two of them through the porthole. It's really dangerous. Alice let out a sigh of relief when she saw that the zombie dog was trapped outside the door. Be careful, there are zombies behind you. As expected of someone who has seen Resident Evil, Victor hurriedly reminded him that there was a zombie in this room before he even looked back. What? Alice was reminded and turned around abruptly. Roar. A security zombie roared and rushed towards Alice. Drink. Seeing that the security zombie was about to bite her, Agent Alice's killing instinct broke out, and her hands frantically bombarded the security zombie's chest. Punch after punch, although the zombie didn't feel pain, the terrifying power still kept him back. After blasting the zombie away for a distance, Alice jumped directly on the spot and kicked the head of the security zombie. Bang, dang, bang. How could the security guard zombie be able to resist? He was kicked upside down and flew out and smashed on a glass case. All the glassware above was smashed, and all kinds of glass fragments fell to the ground. The security guard cocked his head and stopped moving. Victor on the side looked at Alice blankly. To be honest, Victor didn't even notice Alice's skill when Alice attacked the security zombies. His eyes were all drawn to the scenery flashing by under Alice's dress. I was stunned immediately. This woman was too unconscious. What's wrong? Alice was also taken aback by her own skills, thinking that it was her combat power that frightened Victor. Nothing. Victor knew that Alice had misunderstood, but he did not explain. He was pretty sure he had read it right. It was black. I don't know if it's good or bad to be with such a beautiful and deadly Valkyrie. This man has a gun on him. Alice didn't realize that her movement during the fight had revealed too much just now. Seeing the pistol on the security guard's zombie pocket, she didn't hesitate to step forward and take the security guard's gun carefully. No windows. Victor thought of something again. He just picked up a chair and went up to the window to block it. Bang. Sure enough, the zombie dogs outside saw that the door was too thick to attack, so they wanted to break the glass window and enter. However, its collision directly hit the chair that Victor was waving. Wu Tilda the zombie dog wailed and continued to pounce. Click, click, click. The zombie dog's fighting power is also fierce, and it is crazy to bite at the chair, and the dog's mouth is like a machine like crazy opening and closing. The wooden chair disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Shoot. Victor watched the zombie dog gnaw at the chair like a pile driver while Alice was still there and hurriedly reminded. Alice reacted and hurriedly picked up the gun and shot the zombie dog. Bang! The gunshot sounded and the zombie dog fell down. Dang, dang. However, before the two could react, there were several more sounds of glass being smashed. Several zombie dogs rushed in directly. This one is not easy to deal with, and now there are even more heads and there are more jumps in that window. This wave is the rhythm of death. Alice's marksmanship is not bad, she just shot the zombie dog in the head. But in the face of so many zombie dogs rushing in at the same time, no matter how good her marksmanship is, it is impossible to headshot so many high-speed moving targets at the same time. This made Alice hesitate. Shoot them, shoot them. Victor kept smashing the legs of the chair, but he couldn't do any damage to the zombie dogs. Seeing that Alice was still hesitating at this time, she hurriedly shouted, "No, it's too much, it's moving too fast, I'm mixed with you, I can't aim at all." It's not that Alice didn't want to shoot, but that these monsters broke through the window, and the speed and number were so large that it was difficult for her to aim. Even if a shot is fired, it is difficult to guarantee a hit. There is also the possibility of accidentally hurting Victor in front. Roar! The zombies rushing towards Victor increased several times and Chi rushed towards Victor. Some bit Victor's neck, some bit his hands, his feet, and even his chair legs. With such a close distance and so many zombies, Victor's chair legs are useless. The next moment, Victor was about to be besieged by zombie dogs and died. "You just shoot, trust me." Seeing that the situation was critical, Victor said directly, "Fight." Alice's eyes showed determination. She no longer hesitated and decisively opened fire. Bang! The gunshot sounded, and a bullet was shot with a hot muzzle flash and shot at a zombie dog. The power of the bullet is very strong. As long as it hits, it will definitely knock down the zombie dog. However, hitting a stationary target is not the same as hitting a high-speed moving targets. The speed of the zombie dog is too fast. If the bullet continues to fly in the direction of departure, it must just miss the cheek of the zombie dog. But who is Victor? How could the man who awakened the Magneto Gene be stumped? With a move of his mind, the trajectory of the outgoing bullet was instantly changed. Puff! The zombie that rushed towards Victor was directly headshot by the deflected bullet. What? Alice didn't expect her marksmanship to be so good, and a hurried shot actually shot her head. Bang, bang, bang. Alice hits with one shot, more confident, and fires wildly at those zombies. Victor also cooperated, directly and secretly using the metal control ability to constantly change the trajectory of those bullets. So a strange scene happened. Alice shot frantically. Zombie dogs kept being shot down by headshots, and the bullets hit the wall and bounced off the narrow metal room. According to the probability, even if Victor was not hit by Alice's bullet, he might be accidentally injured by the ejected bullet. However, the amazing thing is that Victor not only was not accidentally injured, but seemed to be dancing in the hail of bullets from Alice, not to mention how comfortable it was. Although the zombie dogs fell one after another, system prompts kept ringing in Victor's mind. This zombie dog is obviously more difficult to deal with than those ordinary zombies. However, the income obtained is also twice as high as that of ordinary zombies, directly reaching 20 points per head. In just a while, Victor's points increased from 130 to 270. One thing Victor noticed was that there were 8 zombie dogs in total, but only 7 points were actually obtained. That is to say, Victor, the first zombie dog Alice killed, did not get points. After thinking about it for a moment, Victor immediately understood that he did not get points if zombies died around him, but only the kills he participated in would get points. Because the first zombie dog was completely killed by Alice herself, Victor had no points. In the later killing of Alice, Victor used metal control to assist, so it was judged as his kill by the system. Knowing the scope of the system's judgment is very helpful for Victor to gain points later. See, my marksmanship. After the bullets were fired, seeing all the zombie dogs fall down, Alice looked at Victor excitedly. It seems that she still can't believe that her marksmanship has become so good. At such a high-speed moving targets, she was able to shoot headshots. What made her even more puzzled was that some zombie dogs she wanted to aim at were the body, but when she fired, she still got a headshot. She now feels that she is a natural sharpshooter. As long as there is a gun in hand, no monster can be her opponent. This kind of headshot feeling is so cool. Even if she is a woman, she is very obsessed with this feeling. Cough, yes, your marksmanship is the best I have ever seen. Hearing this, Victor did not explain, tried to hold back his laughter and gave Alice a thumbs up, admiring. Although this Alice is the protagonist of Resident Evil, he and her have not known each other for a long time. As his life-saving metal control ability, naturally, she cannot be known. Since she didn't find it, then it's fine that she killed it. Anyway, the points for the kill belong to him. It's not advisable to stay here for a long time, let's leave here first. Victor knows that zombies are the most susceptible to sound. This time, Alice fired so many shots in a row, which will inevitably lead to the gathering of nearby zombies, reached out and motioned for Alice to continue to help him and leave here. Alice nodded, threw the empty pistol away, walked over, supported Victor and walked out. Victor habitually put his hand around Alice's neck. Wait, just as she stepped out of the gate of the security room, Alice suddenly stopped. What's wrong? Victor asked with a puzzled face. Are you badly hurt? Alice asked. Of course, didn't you see it when you were in the restaurant? Victor looked puzzled. You were in my arms at the time of the explosion. Didn't you see how violent the collision was? Why are you still asking this question? Go to hell. Hearing this, Alice frowned. With anger on her face, she grabbed Victor's shoulder and threw it out. Ow! Victor was thrown into a scream, got up from the ground and said angrily to Alice, "What are you doing? You want to kill me?" Victor was puzzled and didn't understand what happened to Alice. It was fine just now, but in the blink of an eye it turned ruthless. You're so injured and you're still jumping around like that, playing with me. Alice looked at Victor and got up immediately after being thrown. Obviously nothing happened and said coldly. She felt that something was wrong with Victor, saying that he was seriously injured, and she also saw that he was seriously injured. But when dealing with zombie dogs, he confronted 8 zombie dogs with the legs of a chair by himself. The situation was critical just now, and she didn't think about it. Now that the fight was over, the agent's instinct immediately realized that something was wrong. After this fall, her conjecture was completely confirmed and Victor was all right. It's okay, you still pretended to be hurt and asked her to help. Is this deliberately trying to stand her cheap? Can this be tolerated? Hey. Really, I can walk, I can trot, I can jump, and I don't know when it's good. Victor was stunned when he heard the words, moved his hands, twisted his waist, walked a few steps, started running again, and finally was able to jump. He was pleasantly surprised to find that his back injury from the explosion was completely healed, and it didn't hurt at all. Before coming in, he just felt that his resilience was amazing, and he was barely able to walk by himself. Only now did I realize that I was not only fine, but also able to walk, trot, and dance. Alice saw Victor running and jumping again, feeling that she was being tricked, and walked out the door angrily. Wait for me. I didn't lie to you, and I don't know when I'll be fine. Seeing Alice leaving angrily, Victor hurriedly chased after him and explained. Indeed, he really did not expect that after activating the Magneto Gene, his resilience would be so strong. He admitted that when he came in, he did know that he was barely able to leave, but he really didn't know that after a while he was completely healed. He really didn't want to lie to her. Alice ignored Victor and walked faster. You don't even know when you got hurt. Who are you fooling? You didn't get hurt at all from the start. If she was really injured in the explosion, how could it be possible for her to walk for a while? Isn't this bullshit? So Alice felt that Victor was lying to her from the beginning, just to take advantage of her. It's just that she didn't have enough vicious eyes to see that he was pretending. How did she know that it was true that Victor was injured at the beginning, and it was also true that the injury healed quickly later? After all, he is a man who has awakened mutant genes. It is really normal for him to have a stronger recovery ability. This wave of Victor is really hard to say. The two walked all the way without speaking, and the possible danger in the surrounding darkness made the already depressing atmosphere even more depressing. Alice didn't want to talk. Victor said Alice ignored it and chose not to explain. Not long after the two entered the office area, the chair papers are scattered here and there, indicating the panic of the crowd before the crisis. Lisa, suddenly a suspicious voice came from the office. Roar, bang, dang, bang, tilde. Then Victor and Alice heard the roar of zombies and the crash of items falling from the inside. Obviously, the man inside was attacked by zombies. Matt. Hearing that voice, Victor and Alice looked at each other and spoke out almost at the same time, making the same judgment. Alice didn't hesitate, grabbed a crystal cube on the desk and rushed in. The two entered the room and saw a female zombie attacking Matt. Victor knew that if he rushed to kill the female zombie at this time, 10 points would be credited immediately. But he didn't do it because he knew that the female zombie was called Lisa, and it was to expose the righteous man of the Umbrella Corporation's genetic weapon research. And this female zombie is Matt's sister Lisa. Although he doesn't think he has absolute integrity, he is not that kind of person who breaks his sister's head in front of his big brother. So he let Alice go up with the crystal and smash it on the head of the female zombie. Bang. The female zombie was hit on the head and her body slowly fell down. Watching his sister fall, Matt, who was attacked, hugged the corpse of the zombie, buried his head and cried. What's wrong? Alice looked puzzled, not understanding what happened. Why did this female zombie attack Matt? Why did Matt cry while holding her corpse? This is his sister Lisa. Victor stepped forward, patted Alice on the shoulder, and explained softly. Although Lisa was put together by Spence, it failed to expose the illegal experiment of the umbrella. However, such a woman who has the courage to sacrifice her life to expose the power deserves his Victor's respect. Sorry, I do not know. Alice was stunned when she heard Victor's explanation and said apologetically. She just wanted to save people, and she didn't know that this was Matt's sister. Don't blame you, she was already dead. After a wave of zombie attacks, he also understood that his sister had actually turned into a zombie and died, so Alice didn't actually kill his sister. He was just sad to see his only sister die and didn't mean to blame Alice. What happened? Alice asked suspiciously. Umbrella companies, they think they can be lawless, but we don't allow it. There are hundreds of people who share our passions all over the world. Some provide intelligence, some provide support, and some are directly involved in the operation. In the face of Alice's question, Matt stopped hiding and explained, just like you, Alice said. If your friends investigate a little more thoroughly, they will find out that I am actually a fake cop. I have a bad record everywhere, and there is no way I could sneak into the hive. Matt continued to look sad and even more remorseful. So you asked your sister to come in instead of you. Seeing Matt's expression, Alice immediately guessed something said. Matt was silent for a long time and said, we need some substantial evidence to expose this shady story. For this evidence, we can only come here and find that evidence. What evidence? Alice didn't want to talk. Victor said Alice ignored it and chose not to explain. Not long after, the two entered the office area. The chair papers are scattered here and there, indicating the panic of the crowd before the crisis. Lisa, suddenly a suspicious voice came from the office. Roar, bang, dang, bang, tilde. Then Victor and Alice heard the roar of zombies and the crash of items falling from the inside. Obviously, the man inside was attacked by zombies. Matt. Hearing that voice, Victor and Alice looked at each other and spoke out almost at the same time, making the same judgment. Alice didn't hesitate, grabbed a crystal cube on the desk and rushed in. The two entered the room and saw a female zombie attacking Matt. Victor knew that if he rushed to kill the female zombie at this time, 10 points would be credited immediately. But he didn't do it because he knew that the female zombie was called Lisa, and it was to expose the righteous man of the Umbrella Corporation's genetic weapon research. And this female zombie is Matt's sister Lisa. Although he doesn't think he has absolute integrity, he is not that kind of person who breaks his sister's head in front of his big brother. So he let Alice go up with the crystal and smash it on the head of the female zombie. Bang. The female zombie was hit on the head and her body slowly fell down. Watching his sister fall, Matt, who was attacked, hugged the corpse of the zombie, buried his head and cried. What's wrong? Alice looked puzzled, not understanding what happened. Why did this female zombie attack Matt? Why did Matt cry while holding her corpse? This is his sister Lisa. Victor stepped forward, patted Alice on the shoulder, and explained softly. Although Lisa was put together by Spence, it failed to expose the illegal experiment of the umbrella. However, such a woman who has the courage to sacrifice her life to expose the power deserves his Victor's respect. Sorry, I do not know. Alice was stunned when she heard Victor's explanation and said apologetically. She just wanted to save people, and she didn't know that this was Matt's sister. Don't blame you, she was already dead. After a wave of zombie attacks, he also understood that his sister had actually turned into a zombie and died, so Alice didn't actually kill his sister. He was just sad to see his only sister die and didn't mean to blame Alice. What happened? Alice asked suspiciously. Umbrella companies, they think they can be lawless, but we don't allow it. There are hundreds of people who share our passions all over the world. Some provide intelligence, some provide support, and some are directly involved in the operation. In the face of Alice's question, Matt stopped hiding and explained, just like you, Alice said. If your friends investigate a little more thoroughly, they will find out that I am actually a fake cop. I have a bad record everywhere, and there is no way I could sneak into the hive. Matt continued to look sad and even more remorseful. So you asked your sister to come in instead of you. Seeing Matt's expression, Alice immediately guessed something said. Matt was silent for a long time and said, we need some substantial evidence to expose this shady story. For this evidence, we can only come here and find that evidence. What evidence? Alice didn't want to talk. Victor said Alice ignored it and chose not to explain. Not long after, the two entered the office area. The chair papers are scattered here and there, indicating the panic of the crowd before the crisis. Lisa, suddenly a suspicious voice came from the office. Roar, bang, dang bang tilde. Then Victor and Alice heard the roar of zombies and the crash of items falling from the inside. Obviously, the man inside was attacked by zombies. Matt. Hearing that voice, Victor and Alice looked at each other and spoke out almost at the same time, making the same judgment. Alice didn't hesitate, grabbed a crystal cube on the desk and rushed in. The two entered the room and saw a female zombie attacking Matt. Victor knew that if he rushed to kill the female zombie at this time, 10 points would be credited immediately. But he didn't do it because he knew that the female zombie was called Lisa, and it was to expose the righteous man of the Umbrella Corporation's genetic weapon research. And this female zombie is Matt's sister Lisa. Although he doesn't think he has absolute integrity, he is not that kind of person who breaks his sister's head in front of his big brother. So he let Alice go up with the crystal and smash it on the head of the female zombie. Bang. The female zombie was hit on the head and her body slowly fell down. Watching his sister fall, Matt, who was attacked, hugged the corpse of the zombie, buried his head and cried. What's wrong? Alice looked puzzled, not understanding what happened. Why did this female zombie attack Matt? Why did Matt cry while holding her corpse? This is his sister Lisa. Victor stepped forward, patted Alice on the shoulder and explained softly. Although Lisa was put together by Spence, it failed to expose the illegal experiment of the Umbrella. However, such a woman who has the courage to sacrifice her life to expose the power deserves his Victor's respect. Sorry, I do not know. Alice was stunned when she heard Victor's explanation and said apologetically. She just wanted to save people, and she didn't know that this was Matt's sister. Don't blame you, she was already dead. After a wave of zombie attacks, he also understood that his sister had actually turned into a zombie and died, so Alice didn't actually kill his sister. He was just sad to see his only sister die and didn't mean to blame Alice. What happened? Alice asked suspiciously. Umbrella companies, they think they can be lawless, but we don't allow it. There are hundreds of people who share our passions all over the world. Some provide intelligence, some provide support, and some are directly involved in the operation. In the face of Alice's question, Matt stopped hiding and explained, just like you, Alice said. If your friends investigate a little more thoroughly, they will find out that I am actually a fake cop. I have a bad record everywhere, and there is no way I could sneak into the hive. Matt continued to look sad and even more remorseful. So you asked your sister to come in instead of you. Seeing Matt's expression, Alice immediately guessed something said. Matt was silent for a long time and said, we need some substantial evidence to expose this shady story. For this evidence, we can only come here and find that evidence. What evidence? Alice asked suspiciously. Illegal research genetic virus. Victor on the side said, how do you know? Are you also? Matt heard the words, a little surprised, suddenly raised his head and looked at Victor. It was only after a long period of research and investigation that they discovered that this Umbrella company was illegally researching genetic weapons. But who is Victor, and why does he even know this? Could it be that Victor is his own? Don't look at me like that. I admire your courage, but I'm not yours. Obviously, you believed in the wrong person. This genetic virus is too valuable. After the people who cooperated with you took the genetic virus, they did not choose to announce the crime of the Umbrella to the world, but kept it for themselves. He even released the virus before he left, wanting to kill everyone here. It's a pity that he underestimated the speed at which the Red Queen blocked the base. Seeing Matt looking at him, Victor shrugged, indicating that Matt had misunderstood. He was not with them, and say what you know. You mean that person is still in the base? Matt was stunned when he heard the words. Although their members cooperated, he really didn't know who the cooperating person was. Otherwise, there would be no misunderstanding that Victor is their person. Exist. Victor didn't hide it, he said bluntly. Who is it? Matt showed hatred in his eyes. This person took the virus and even released it here, killing his sister Lisa. Not only Matt, but Alice also looked at Victor, pricked up her ears, and listened carefully. Although Alice is an agent of James, her job is to protect the research of the Umbrella Company. But when she knew that what she was protecting was a virus that turned people into zombies, she had no plans to continue working for this company. They all wanted to know who had released this Pandora's box. What you have seen, just like you lost your memory. Seeing the two looking at him, Victor said bluntly without hiding it, for him, a traveler, there are almost no secrets here. Spins. The two heard Victor's reminder and immediately understood who Victor was talking about, so they spoke together. There are only 3 people who have lost their memory here: Alice, Matt, and Spence. The 2 of them are naturally impossible, so it can only be Spence. Yes. Victor nodded and affirmed. This B asterisk 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 D, I should have thought it was him. Matt said angrily when he learned that the enemy was always by his side. He can't wait to find the B asterisk 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 D to settle accounts now. Wait a minute, Victor, how do you know so well? Who the hell are you? Alice suddenly realized that something was wrong, thinking that Victor knew everything from the beginning. When in the restaurant, Victor reminded James not to shut down the Red Queen, otherwise the zombies who became employees would be released. Unfortunately, James did not obey and died in the laser corridor. As Victor said, all those employees became zombies. Victor said that a zombie will die without a headshot if that's what he said. Just now Matt hadn't spoken, he comforted her that it was Matt's sister, and he was told by him again. Now he seems to have experienced everything that happened, and he knows the whole incident like the back of the hand. Matt, the partner of Spence, whom none of the members of the organization knew about, even Victor knew about it. His identity had to make her doubt. After listening to Alice's words, Matt finally reacted and looked at Victor vigilantly. Apparently also on the dike, Victor. Would you believe me if I said that I was an ordinary student who accidentally broke into the hive? Seeing that the 2 of them looked like they were facing a formidable enemy, Victor said helplessly. It's so hard to tell the truth these days. He said at the beginning that everyone here has been infected into zombies. As a result, James didn't believe it and insisted on releasing the zombies. She said that being bitten would become infected with a virus and turn into a zombie, and Rain didn't believe it either. He warned these people over and over again, but no one believed him. Now that he told the truth to the 2 of them, they actually doubted him. Do you want to tell the truth? The truth is, I am just an ordinary student who accidentally broke into the hive. Do you believe it? I believe. Alice stared at Victor's eyes for a long time and even said, do you really believe it? Victor was stunned, not expecting Alice to believe him. After all, he felt nonsense when he said the truth. How could anyone believe him? Do you really believe what he said? Matt on the side looked at Alice suspiciously. This Victor's reason is too nonsense. This is not reliable. For this reason, even a 3-year-old child is more credible than this. How could a student stray into an institute so well guarded that their organization couldn't get in? What a liar. If he's lying, there's no way he's going to find a flawed reason. Alice looked at Victor's eyes and spoke lightly. As a female agent, she still has basic professional qualities. From Victor's eyes, she can't see any appearance of Victor lying. And what Victor has always done has been to remind everyone of the danger. It's just that no one believes him. Even if Victor really lied, what does it matter? As long as he doesn't threaten them, he can still help. Is it important to lie? Even if they were, who didn't lie? How can you be a secret agent without lying? Here there is only one goal, and that is to survive. As for Victor's identity, it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, I trust you too. Matt hesitated for a while and then said. Even his own identity as a fake police officer has just been revealed. What qualifications does he have to speak of others? Victor has not done anything against them. He also spoke many times to remind them to save them. That being the case, no matter how bullshit the reason is, what is there to lose if you trust me? After wanting to understand everything, Matt is also willing to trust Victor once. Forehead. Victor didn't expect the 2 to believe him at first, but now the 2 unexpectedly believed him, so he didn't know what to say. Since you know so much, do you know how to get out of here? Alice turned the subject back on track and asked. Do not know? Victor heard the words and said very simply. Alice and Matt were disappointed when they heard this. It seems that this Victor does not know everything. It seems that this time they are still going to die here. But Victor thought for a moment and said, but what? The 2, who had no way to go out, were just completely disappointed, and when they heard Victor's words, hope immediately rose again, looking at Victor with expectant eyes. This is how people are. The more desperate they are, the less they will let go of any hope. It's like a drowning person, knowing that there is a straw floating on his head, he will desperately reach out and grab it. This is the instinct of human existence. As the main system of the entire hive, the Red Queen controls all passages of the entire base. If she can block all passages that leave, she will definitely know where to go out. Victor recalled the plot and vaguely remembered that the Red Queen knew of a maintenance channel to leave the hive. Just where exactly, he didn't know. Only restart the Red Queen and ask it. What are you waiting for? Alice looked at Victor with renewed hope in her eyes. Since they have no way out and the computer knows the way out, is it worth thinking about? Of course, to restart the host. Alice directly grabbed a folding chair and looked at Victor. Host control room. Dong dong dong. Behind the metal door, there was a lot of B***G. Obviously, there are zombies outside. Whatever they are, there are too many of them. What? They're wearing the clothes here, obviously the staff here. The staff are dead. That doesn't stop them from wandering around. Where did they come from? Why didn't you see them come in? When you cut off the power, you also cut off the door locks. Like Victor said, we let them out. After Rain, Spence, and Chad separated from Victor, JD also died, and the three of them were lucky enough to hide here. Listening to the perpetual knocking of zombies outside, the three of them quarreled and analyzed. Chad had a confused look on his face and didn't understand at all. When he came in, there was no obstruction all the way. How could piles of zombies pop up crazily after entering? Where did these zombies come from? It was still Rain who recalled what Victor said when Captain James left, and deduced that it was Chad who shut down the zombies released by the Red Queen. These people were completely quiet. After a long time, it was not that someone wanted to kill them, but they themselves did not listen to Victor's persuasion and killed themselves. I have to say this is a mockery. But when they found Victor, Victor was fine, so they subconsciously thought that since Victor was fine, the other people should be fine too. The ghost knows that Victor's words are a prophecy. Those employees really all turned into cannibal zombies. Now Chad really has the urge to slap himself. Why didn't they listen to Victor's words and leave? If they had left in the first place, it would have been impossible for them to fall into such a desperate situation. This wave is over, it's going to die here. Roar, bang bang bang. In the computer room, just when everyone was in an atmosphere of depression and despair, the sound of the door that was slapping unexpectedly stopped. Instead, it was the sound of various weapons slamming. Click, click, click. What was even more bizarre was that the doorknob of the room started to turn. Mumble, have these zombies learned to open doors? Seeing that the closed iron door was turning open, Chad felt his scalp tingle. This unconscious zombie is already difficult to deal with, and now there is a wave of zombies that can open the door. All right, they're done. Damn. Rain wanted to use the rifle, but found that there was not a single bullet in the rifle magazine, so she threw the rifle straight away and pulled out the pistol. Closed the door. Seeing that the door was about to be opened, Spence rushed towards the door, trying to stop the zombies from opening the door. Crack! However, before he rushed to the door opened first. Rain raised her pistol and aimed directly at the door, ready to give the first zombie a headshot. Don't shoot your own. The first person who rushed in was Alice. As soon as she rushed through the door, she directly hit the muzzle of Rain's gun and hurriedly raised her hand. She thought there was no one here, but she didn't expect that Rain and the others would be here. Closed the door there behind. Then Victor and Matt rushed in after him. As soon as the two entered the computer room, without any hesitation, they closed the door decisively. Boom. With the joint efforts of the two, the zombies outside the door were directly pushed back, and the door of the computer room was slammed shut. Woo tilde, only when the door was closed that everyone let out a sigh of relief and almost collapsed. Spins. You be ***D, I finally found you. Matt learned from Victor that his sister was killed by this Spence, and now that he is here, the revenge of killing her sister is undeniable. To see how he killed the B****D, he threw the tattered lamp in his hand at that Spence. Bang! That Spence didn't expect Matt to attack him suddenly, he was unprepared and he was almost knocked out by a blow. Bang! Matt wanted to continue to make up for the knife, but Rain, who was beside him, reacted. The pistol turned the muzzle directly at the impulsive Matt and suddenly pulled the trigger. The bullet flew directly across Matt's arm, spattering a flower of blood. Don't move, put down your weapon, move again and I'll shoot. Rain gave a stern warning. Spence was their agent guarding the entrance there, man. You are a prisoner of unknown origin and you are going to attack their people. Naturally, she will not let such a thing happen. The shot was a warning that if Matt continued to attack Spence, she would not hesitate to fire. Humph. Although Matt was impulsive, he was still sensible. Under Rain's gun, he could only stop attacking. The anger on his face did not diminish, and he glared at Spence, but the hatred in his eyes was hard to hide. Only then did he hatefully throw the broken lamp stand in his hand on the ground. You be ***D, you dare to beat me and seek death. Spence wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, rushed up and punched Matt's stomach. Bang! Spence is an agent guarding the secret entrance, and his combat power is naturally not weak. With this punch, he directly beats numb Matt to the ground. Victor and Alice wanted to help when they saw Matt being attacked. Crack! The technician Chad on the side raised his pistol and aimed it directly at the two. The two were helpless and could only stop. Hit you. You killed my sister, I can't wait to tear you to pieces. Matt was beaten upright, still staring at Spence with hatred on his face. What? I killed your sister? Are you crazy? I don't even know who your sister is. When did I kill your sister? Spence was affected by neurotoxins and has yet to regain his memory. Hearing this is a strange look on his face. He didn't know Matt at all, and he didn't know that he had a sister. When did he kill her? Simply inexplicable. At that, Matt, he kicked him again. My sister is Lisa. If you hadn't released the T-virus, how could she have died? Matt on the ground growled angrily. Bang! At the moment Matt's words came out, Spence, who had an inexplicable face, froze and his mind roared instantly. One after another memory frantically appeared in his mind. In the woods, Lisa is connecting with Alice, and not far away, he is eavesdropping on their conversation with a bug. I can get the virus for you. I have a password and can pass through the surveillance system safely, but this comes at a price, Alice said. Speak. Lisa said, you have to promise me that you will bring down this company. Alice said. It turned out that Lisa's inner should not be Spence. The real inner should be Alice. Alice was originally a security guard at the special entrance of the Umbrella Corporation and was responsible for protecting the Hive. In order to obtain Umbrella's biochemical test secrets, Umbrella's competitors send Lisa to approach Alice in an attempt to enter the Hive through her. Lisa also succeeded in entering with the password provided by Alice. It's just that their actions were detected by another agent, Spence. The screen turns. While Alice was sleeping, Spence resolutely entered the laboratory and took out the T-virus and the antidote first. Before leaving, I did not forget to throw a tube of virus into the room. In his calculations, it was enough time for him to leave, kill everyone and cover up everything. He also did successfully leave the Hive. But what he didn't expect was that the Red Queen actually had control outside the Hive and directly released neurotoxins, poisoning him into the train. James and other special forces who came later found him unconscious on the train. Due to the side effects of neurotoxins, he has only now regained his memory. What? The virus released by Spence? Rain was stunned when she heard the words, what the hell? Isn't Spence one of them? His role is to guard the special entrance with Alice and protect the laboratory. How could he be the one who released the virus? Although Rain felt puzzled, the special forces' instinct still made her react, moving the muzzle away and turning to Spence. Although Rain doesn't believe that Spence is that kind of person, before things can be figured out, whoever is suspected must control whoever is. Rain, what are you doing? She's a fake police officer and a prisoner. How can she be trusted? She's trying to divide us. Spence is not stupid. After regaining his memory, although he knew that he did it, the entire laboratory was murdered by him. But so what? Matt is a fake cop, a prisoner. And he was an agent sent by the special forces to guard the exit. Comparing the two, it is clear at a glance who to believe. Sure enough, after listening to Spence's words, Rain turned the muzzle back to Matt. Indeed, one is his comrade in arms and the other is a fake policeman of unknown origin. Comparing the two, of course, Spence is more trustworthy. Bang! Alice on the other side stiffened, her pupils dilated. Her mind roared and pictures flashed through her mind, and she regained her memory. Although she didn't get to see Spence steal and release the virus firsthand. However, Spence was supposed to be in the house with her. But after she woke up, she appeared on the train in the passage with the special forces. His AWOL directly proved that there was no problem with Victor's claim that it was the virus released by Spence. Otherwise, there is no way to explain why he, the gatekeeper, would enter the Hive without telling her. He was right that the person who released the virus was Spence. After Alice regained her memory, she resolutely exposed Spence without hesitation. What? When Rain heard the words, he wanted to turn the gun back to control Spence. There might be something wrong with the fake cop's words, but another agent said the same thing, so there's really something wrong with this Spencer. Bang. However, before Rain could turn the gun, Spence slapped her hand first. Rain's hand was originally bitten by a zombie, and then suddenly attacked. She couldn't hold it for a while, and the pistol fell directly. Spence seized the pistol and aimed it at Rain. Chad, who pointed the muzzle at Victor and Alice, saw that Spence was robbing Rain's gun and felt that it was not good, so he had to turn the muzzle back. Crack. However, although Chad is a special forces, he belongs to the technical arms and he specializes in cracking computers. How could he possibly keep up with Spence's actions? That Spence first aimed the gun at him. Tisk tisk. I advise you to put the gun down so we can still be friends. Spence shook the muzzle, motioning for Chad to stay still and put down the pistol, otherwise he wouldn't mind shooting straight. Now that what he did was exposed and the entire Hive was killed, he didn't mind killing a few more companions. Leaving here and changing hands with the virus will be money that can't be spent in a lifetime. Compared with this, former comrades in arms are not so important. Chad also understands that this Spence has killed so many people here. If he doesn't do it, then Spence will really shoot. No way, he had no choice but to throw the gun on the ground. Okay, that's it, kick it over. Seeing Chad drop the pistol, Spence continued to let Chad kick the pistol on the ground. Although Chad was reluctant, he had no choice but to kick the gun towards Spence. While holding a gun at the crowd, Spence slowly crouched down and picked up the pistol on the ground. Why do it? Rain asked with a puzzled look on her face. He didn't understand that as their comrade in arms, Spence had the mission of protecting the laboratory. However, he did something to kill all the personnel in the laboratory and steal the virus. This is completely contrary to the duty of the military. You have also seen what is being studied here, and someone has offered a higher price. Seeing that the situation was under control, Spence no longer hesitated and said lightly, he didn't hide his greed at all. Yes, he is for the money. How much does it cost to be a security guard? Someone offered a higher price. Why would he continue to protect the laboratory? What if you got the virus? Didn't you die here with us? Seeing that Spence was proud, Rain sneered. Betray them for money, but you are trapped here like us now. There are zombies outside. Is it useful to ask for money? We still have a way to get out of here. Come with me. We can have whatever we want. There's a lot of money out there waiting for us. You can't imagine how much. Spence ignored Rain and turned to Alice. His words seemed to have magic power and they seduced Alice. He didn't care about the life and death of the people here and still hoped that Alice would leave with him. Although their marriage is fake, but they have been together for many days, such a big beauty, it is fake to say that they are not interested. If Alice wanted to, he let Alice go with him and share his money, his achievements. Money that can't be spent in a lifetime, can't even think about. Isn't that what people live for? Do you think my dream will come true like this? In the face of Spence's coercion and temptation, Alice was unmoved and directly rejected his proposal. There are many things in this world. Not everyone is like him and can do anything for money. Rejected by Alice, a hint of disappointment appeared on Spence's face. Seeing that Spence was distracted, Rain stepped abruptly and rushed towards Spence. Crack! However, that Spence responded very quickly and immediately got rid of his lost emotions, and the other gun was raised, pointing directly at Rain, who was rushing up. Rain knew that the opportunity was gone and she had no choice but to stop. With two guns in hand, Spence is almost unstoppable. You have other roles, don't force me to shoot. Spence did not directly fire on Rain but drank Rain and continued to say to Alice, give you another chance, join or quit. I don't know what we have. Alice spoke indifferently. If that's the case, don't blame me. Go over and open the door. Seeing Alice's repeated rejection of his invitation, Spence's tone gradually turned cold. Not a friend, it can only be an enemy. He directly ordered Alice to open the door. Are you crazy? There are zombies outside. Hearing that Spence let the door open, Chad scolded directly. The outside is full of zombies, let them open the door, don't they let them die. Either make the way for me or die now, you have no other choice. I count 3 times. If no one opens the door yet, don't blame me for being rude. 3, 2, Spence's face was frosty, staring at the crowd with indifference. Now that the place is surrounded, he certainly can't rush out alone. However, if there is a gang of scapegoats in front of attracting zombies, it will be different. If it doesn't work, it's a big deal to hurt these people, and the blood will naturally attract zombies. Sacrificing these people in exchange for his own escape, in his opinion, this has no psychological burden at all. After speaking, Spence began to count down directly, and his fingers were constantly tightening, and the muzzle of the gun moved on the crowd. Alice, Rain, Chad, Matt, and others faced Spence's persecution with anger on their faces, but there was nothing they could do. There are indeed a lot of them, but Spence's marksmanship is naturally not bad as a special agent. If you rush up with your bare hands, you will definitely die. If you open the door, you will die, but if you don't open the door, you will die now. This made them all very uncomfortable. Listening to the countdown of that Spence, each one's face was extremely ugly, and they were fighting between heaven and man, and cold sweat broke out from their foreheads. Enough. Just when everyone was in panic and despair, and when Spence thought everything was under control, Victor, who was behind everyone, finally couldn't take it any longer. He shouted angrily and stepped out, interrupting Spence's countdown. Originally, he had no grudge against Spence, but this Spence was too good. For money, betray his comrades and kill all innocent people in the entire company. Now, in order to survive, they have to be used as bait to attract zombies. Before the apocalypse broke out, human nature has fallen into darkness to such an extent. For Victor, who grew up under the red flag and a peaceful society, it was disgusting. Even if you are trying to expose your abilities, you must absolutely stop it. What did you say? A garbage survivor even dares to interrupt my countdown, asking for death. Spence was interrupted by Victor and looked at Victor's face with anger. In his eyes, Victor is just an ordinary survivor. The people here include special agents, special soldiers, and masters from other organizations. Which one is not a powerful boss? they can't do anything about him. You, a survivor with little sense of existence who was rescued, dared to cut off his orders. It's just asking for death. Spence was trembling with anger from Victor's shout and angrily turned his gun to aim at Victor and fired directly. Bang. The gunshot sounded, and a bullet left the muzzle, carrying a hot muzzle flash and spun towards Victor's face. It's over. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt around saw Spence shoot at Victor, and there was only one thought in their hearts, that Victor was dead. As a special soldier turned agent, Spence's marksmanship is absolutely superb. This shot is extremely accurate. Even if Victor is a special soldier, he can't dodge it, let alone an ordinary student. This shot could kill him. However, in the face of this fatal shot, Victor's waist was straight, and he looked straight at Spence without the slightest fear. However, a strange scene happened. The bullet that shot at Victor began to deflect before it approached Victor. By the time the shot hit Victor's face, he was completely out of focus. He missed Victor and hit the door behind Victor. Hit, missed. This Spence should just be a warning. He missed it on purpose. After all, there's no reason to miss it with Spence's marksmanship. Phew, fortunately it's just a warning, otherwise Victor will be dead this time. Alice, Rain, Chad, Matt, and others were startled when they saw Spence shoot directly, thinking that Victor was dead this time. However, it was unexpectedly discovered that the shot did not hit. In their opinion, as Spence has been a special forces and a special agent for many years, it is impossible for him to make mistakes in his marksmanship. He must have deliberately missed the warning to warn Victor. As long as Victor doesn't continue to provoke him, then he shouldn't kill Victor. What? Spence looked at Victor standing in front of him with a stunned expression. He didn't understand what was going on. He was aiming at Victor's head just now. How could he miss it? Impossible. As a veteran who has played guns for decades, how could he miss? It must be that the neurotoxin side effects have not completely disappeared. Damn, wasted a bullet. Cough, that shot just now is just a warning. Go open the door to attract zombies, or the next shot will cost you your life. Seeing that he missed the shot, Spence attributed the reason to the fact that the neurotoxin side effects had not yet passed. He aimed the muzzle at Victor again and said coldly. This time, he directly ordered Victor to open the door. If Victor didn't open the door, he would kill Victor with the next shot. Do you open the door? I have endured you for a long time, you and I have no grudges, and I don't want to care about your affairs. But you have repeatedly broken through the bottom line of human morality, killing people for money. Facing Spence's order, Victor became angry and scolded him directly, angering and arguing. Spence was stunned. Such a group of bigwigs dared not refuse him, but Victor, a little survivor, refused him. It's okay to reject him, and he scolds him when he opens his mouth, making him immediately stunned. Isn't this kid afraid of death? Don't you know that he is holding 2 weapons? As long as he gently pulls the trigger, he can instantly send him to hell. It's over. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt didn't expect Victor to be so upright and face Spence's forceful persecution, and they went back directly. This time, it was absolutely impossible for Spence to warn him, and he was going to kill him directly. How can this young man be so honest? Just pretend to give in and find a chance to resist. Talking directly like this will kill people. Shut up, Spence acts. You, a little guy, have no right to point fingers at me. Sure enough, Spence was furious when he reacted. As a special forces soldier, killing is commonplace. As a secret agent, it is common to lie, and as a spy, it is his instinct to be ruthless with conspiracies and tricks. Yes, he betrayed his comrades for money and released the virus to kill everyone in the laboratory. But so what? He knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants. Spence does things, and it is not your place of an ordinary survivor to teach him a lesson. Now I want to use people as bait to lure away zombies for you. Facing Spence's scolding, Victor couldn't stop talking. He even clenched his fists, stepped on the ground suddenly, and charged directly at the Spence. While rushing forward, he continued to criticize Spence's crimes. This wave of his vicious behavior not only wants to scold him, but also wake him up. Let him know that in this world, money is not everything, and neither is weapons. What is Victor doing? Are you going to fight Spence with your bare hands? Victor, don't be impulsive, you can't beat him. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt were frightened by Victor's outburst. I have seen fierce, but I have never seen Victor so fierce. He is obviously an ordinary student, but he has the courage to fight against top-secret agents with his bare hands. Although everyone felt that Victor's stubbornness was the last resort, but for some reason, seeing Victor's upright look, they had to admire his courage. Not everyone has the courage to face death head-on. Facing the black muzzle, even experienced people like them did not dare to anger Spence and point out Spence's crimes. And a college student like Victor, who is not afraid of death, not only spoke up, but also rushed up to fight with Spence face to face with bare hands. This courage and boldness, this integrity and courage make these experienced fighters feel inferior. Ha ha ha, to dare to rush up with bare hands, it's just asking for death. Since you want to die, then I will fulfill you. Bang bang. Spence was furious when he saw that Victor dared to charge him. Learning from the lesson of the previous miss, he suddenly raised the muzzle and fired continuously at Victor, one shot at the heart and the other at the head. The two bullets were fired almost at the same time. This time Victor, who dared to teach him a lesson, must be killed on the spot. Bang. Facing the two bullets that were shot at a rapid rate, Victor did not hesitate, and the magnetic field of Magneto's metal control ability exploded, instantly covering the two bullets and forcibly correcting the bullet trajectory. Ding ding. The ballistics of the two bullets that were supposed to hit were changed, forcibly deflected, missed Victor directly, and hit the wall behind Victor again. What? Again, missed again. Victor's luck is so good he missed it. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt all widened their eyes and looked stunned. I thought Victor could not escape this time. As a result, the second round of attacks did not hit him again. The first time it can be said that it was a warning from Spence. This time it would be weird if he missed it. Could it be that Victor is really lucky? Tap tap. Victor did not stop, clenched his fists, and continued to accelerate towards Spence. What? This is impossible, die. Seeing that Victor continued to charge, Spence panicked for the first time, his eyes widened, and his face was in disbelief. He didn't understand what was going on with his body. The marksmanship that usually hits 100 shots is actually ineffective today on an ordinary person, one after another. For such a big man, he actually missed 2 shots in a row. This is a huge mistake that has never occurred in his special soldier history or in the history of special agents. It was unbelievable. Since one gun fails to hit, fire both guns together. He couldn't believe it anymore. The luck of an ordinary survivor really can defy heaven. As soon as he thought about it, Spence directly raised his 2 guns and shot Victor frantically. You're in luck, aren't you? Grandpa blocked all your advanced space today. I don't think you will die. Bang 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 bang. Spence fired both guns at once. The bullets seemed to be free of money and shot towards Victor frantically. Obviously it was a pistol, but he was stunned by rifle-like firepower which covered all the parts of Victor's body. This time he vowed to turn this Victor, who dared to rage against his crimes, into a hive. Drink. Victor directly stimulated the Magneto Gene to the extreme. The blood in his body boiled, the magnetic field around his body vibrated wildly, and the ballistics of the bullets that were shot were wildly modified. Damn it. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt saw that Spence fired a salvo of guns in order to deal with Victor. In order to avoid accidental injury, they rushed to the side. Many people still don't understand what the madness of this Spence is, why he will fire wildly regardless of the cost to deal with an ordinary person. Victor is so big, is it really that hard to hit? Don't say that you are a special agent, even an ordinary person, it is not like this. However, the next moment they understood how weird this Victor was. A large number of bullets madly shot at Victor, but strangely completely avoided Victor and shot all over Victor. Some brushed Victor's clothes, some brushed Victor's hair, and even some bullets directly brushed Victor's cheeks. But no matter how frantically the bullet was fired, it just couldn't hit Victor. This Victor seems to be a real cheat of human body strokes. Can't hit, hey, just can't hit. What happened? Why did Spence keep firing but miss Victor? Could it be that Spence missed it on purpose? Missing a fart on purpose. Didn't you see Spence's crazily contorted face? Does it look like he was purposely missing a fart? More than 20 bullets, all missed. Is this possible? God, this is impossible. Could it be that he is a person favored by God? Otherwise, why is he so lucky? I feel like I'm going crazy. Either I'm crazy or the world is crazy. Victor rushed through the hail of bullets. Why didn't he get hit? Around Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt watched Victor charge against countless bullets, and they were all dumbfounded. One by one their mouths widened, their eyes widened, and they looked shocked and unbelievable. A top-level agent shooting at an ordinary person. Still 2 guns. The result was good, even not a single bullet hit Victor. This is totally unscientific. You're just a child shooting with a pistol, so it's better than that. But this top-level agent with the ultimate marksmanship is Victor, who can't hit and rush up. Isn't this a hell? Let people who don't believe in God feel that Victor is protected by God, otherwise how can he be so lucky, and he is fine as he travels through the hail of bullets? Are they crazy, or is the world crazy? Click, click, click. Only when Victor rushed to the front that Spence realized that the bullets in the 2 guns had been completely exhausted. The strange thing is that Victor has no injuries at all. If he hadn't seen the sparks from the bullets hitting the iron gate behind Victor, he would have even thought that the 2 pistols he got were empty bullets. No, it's impossible, it's impossible. Spence is going crazy. He is a top-level Special Forces soldier, he is a top-level special agent, and even a top-level spy. This is any identity, take it out, it is an achievement that ordinary people can't achieve in their whole life. Why is he the man at the top of the pyramid of power holding two guns and firing all the bullets, but he can't cause any harm to an ordinary person? Impossible. Dang bang. Spence threw away the two guns in his hand and was about to fight Victor directly. If there is a problem with the gun, then there should be no problem with his hand. A college student who has no strength to fight back with his hands. He has no reason to be a big brother with a triple identity and can't handle Victor. Such a heartless, a beast that is worse than a beast. In the face of abandoning his dual guns, prepare to meet his own Spence. Victor was not afraid, and his right fist, which had been charged for a long time, slammed into Spence's chest. Although he, Victor, cannot say that he is 100% upright, he will never release a virus and kill hundreds of innocent employees for money. Never betray your friends, comrades in arms. Absolutely not, let others feed the zombies to make way for themselves. He, Victor, today wants to wake up this wolf-hearted beast who is inferior to beasts. Ha ha ha, I'm a wolf-hearted dog, so what if I'm not as good as a beast? For the money, I am happy, you can't control it, give me death. Spence reached forward with one hand, grabbed Victor's fist, and clenched the other hand into a fist, ready to knock Victor down. There must have been a problem with the firearm just now, so I didn't have the right head. This time he will use his fists to completely subdue Victor. Bang! Victor's fist collided with that of Spence's palm, making a muffled sound. Victor, who seemed to be weak, actually charged his fist to the peak in the frantic charge and pressed the palm of that Spence back. Spence felt that something was wrong, but he didn't expect that one hand could not stop Victor's attack. If it is an ordinary person facing Victor's punch, he can only bear it. However, Spence is worthy of being a special forces, agents, and spy gatherers. He reacted quickly, and the other fist immediately turned into a palm to block Victor's punch together. There is no need to live at all. Victor's forehead burst with blue veins, and he shouted out the last sentence in anger. Tilde. The iron fist condensed by Victor seems to feel the infinite anger of Victor. The inner cells vibrate wildly, and the terrifying power is crazily compressed. In the end, a terrifyingly huge force erupted, and it slammed back the hands of Spence who had blocked him, hitting him directly on the chest of Spence. Although Victor's physical strength is not strong, but after genetic awakening, his body has also been improved to a certain extent. In addition to his rushing and accumulating power, his fist accumulated all the strength and charging power of his whole body. The power of this punch was unimaginable. The terrifying force erupted, and the top tycoon with the 3-level occupation was forcibly smashed out, smashed on the ground not far away, slipped a distance and hit the wall before stopping. Wow! Spence's mouth filled with blood and a mouthful of blood spurted out. He widened his eyes, looking at the twisted hands and sunken chest with a look of shock and disbelief. He couldn't believe how he, Spence, a top-level special soldier, agent, and spy, did not fall under the hands of those bigwigs, but was beaten down by an ordinary person. With one punch, he broke his finger bones and collapsed his chest. Victor's strength was so terrifying that he was simply not human. Everyone else around was also dumbfounded. Mumble, Victor knocked that Spence down with one punch? How is this possible? He actually succeeded with his bare hands, and against Spence, who had two guns in his hands, he actually succeeded. I must have hallucinations after being bitten by a zombie. How can this Victor be so strong? A college student knocking down an agent with one punch, crazy, I must be crazy. Looking at Spence, who fell to the ground and vomited blood, Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt were all dumbfounded. One by one, their mouths widened, their eyes widened, and their faces were shocked and unbelievable. Among them, there are special forces, communications specialists, special agents, and other forces. Anyone who picks one out and throws it out is a very skilled person. But none of them were sure to deal with that Spence. However, Victor, an ordinary person, just used a fist to knock down Spence, who was holding two guns. Is there anything crazier than this? Who are you? Feeling that he was planted in the hands of an ordinary person, Spence was too unwilling to ask, tremblingly, college students. Victor looked at Spence, who fell to the ground, and was a little stunned. He didn't expect his punch to be so powerful that he could knock Spence out of combat. Of course, although he was secretly surprised, his expression did not show it. Hearing that, Spence asked, Victor had nothing to hide and said lightly, "Student? Ha ha ha. Your joke is so cold." Spence thought that Victor would say something awesome, and he was relieved. After all, if you lost to a master, there would be nothing to complain about. Unexpectedly, Victor actually said that he was an ordinary student. That means Victor is really an ordinary person, isn't this a joke? Are all of you Orientals so arrogant? Even an ordinary student's combat power is stronger than his 3-in-1 boss, so he has been fighting for life and death for so many years. Isn't it a joke to train hard? Compared with denying his more than 20 years of hard work, he is more willing to believe that Victor is joking. However, in the face of his questioning sneer, Victor's face was calm, and he didn't think his ordinary person's identity was funny at all. Damn, what you don't say is true. Now even Spence began to wonder if Victor was telling the truth. After all, he has lost the ability to resist. Does it make sense to continue lying to him? Believe it or not, B*******D, you're dead. Victor didn't speak. Matt had already got up from the ground and smashed it directly at Spence with the broken lamp. Bang, 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 bang. Matt took the lamp stand and smashed that Spence over and over again. Although the lamp was a metal shelf, it couldn't stand the toss. After a while, it was already distorted. However, Matt continued, bombarding Spence over and over again. Enough, Matt, he's dead. Seeing this, Alice on the side came forward, stopped the somewhat crazy Matra and persuaded her. She could understand Matt's pain in the revenge of killing his sister, but Spence was dead, and Matt's continued fight didn't make any sense at all. Woohoo, Lisa, I avenged you. Matt was pulled away as if he had lost his purpose in life and sat down, crying bitterly. He finally avenged his sister, but unfortunately his sister will never come back. The people around watched Matt cry and fell into silence. From entering to the present, who hasn't lost the people they care about here? Victor was about to speak when 2 nosebleeds flowed directly from his nostrils. The ability to use will also be depleted, and even steel can't withstand such a long period of intense fighting and ability to use. Just in order to defeat Spence, he insisted. Now that Spence is dead, as soon as he relaxes and his body softens, he faints. Victor. Alice was right next to Victor. Seeing that Victor was unconscious, she was startled and hurriedly hugged him. In a coma, Victor had a good dream, dreaming that he was going home, lying on his soft bed and sleeping beautifully. Why are my pillows so comfortable? Not knowing how long it took, Victor slowly opened his eyes. After this sleep, he felt that he had become energetic again. Wait a minute. The moment Victor opened his eyes, he could immediately feel the warmth and softness on his cheeks. This temperature, this elasticity, could it be said that this is the legendary knee pillow? You're awake. A soft voice came from Victor's ear. As soon as Victor turned his head, he looked at Alice, who was bowing his head. Wow. It was the first time that Victor slept on someone else's thigh, and the owner of this leg was an exotic and peerless beauty. Is this still great? Victor jumped up subconsciously and said apologetically, I'm sorry, I don't know. How could I? Victor was just an ordinary student. If he hadn't traveled by accident, he wouldn't have had the chance to sleep on a beautiful woman's lap. Appears very flustered. He didn't know how he fell asleep on Alice's thigh. I heard that you Oriental people like to rest like this and they will sleep better. How about it? Does it work? It was rare for Alice to see Victor flustered, the corners of her mouth raised, revealing a hint of a smile. As a special agent, I have some understanding of the habits of people everywhere. I heard that there is a way of rest in the East called knee pillow. Resting on the knee will make the other party feel trust, intimacy, dependence, warmth, and tranquility. She wanted to try it for a long time, but unfortunately she has never had this kind of relationship with any Oriental people. Yes, cough, how long have I been in a coma? Victor didn't hide it either. This feeling is really comfortable, but it just feels a little awkward and needs to get used to it. Victor coughed twice to hide his embarrassment and asked. About half an hour, Alice rode. Only half an hour. Victor was stunned when he heard the words. He didn't expect that his body's recovery was so strong now, and it only took half an hour to recover. What, do you still want to continue? The corners of Alice's mouth rose, revealing a bright smile, teasing. Ah. No, hard work. Victor was a little embarrassed, and he was not stupid. Alice was teasing him at first sight, so naturally he would not really lie down again. Now that he had recovered, he owed Alice a favor, so he decisively refused and thanked Alice. This experience was really good, and he remembered this favor. Facing Victor's rejection and gratitude, for some unknown reason, Alice felt a trace of loss in her heart. Although she was joking just now, deep down she seemed to hope that Victor could lie down again. Wait a minute, what am I thinking? How can there be such a thought? Alice felt that she shouldn't have these messy thoughts. She shook her head, shook off those strange thoughts, and returned to high cold. Hey, what are you doing? Come over when you wake up. The installation has been completed here. Just when Alice and Victor were both caught in a strange atmosphere inside the computer room, Chad entered the last startup code, turned his head and called to Victor and Alice. After everything was done, everyone began to be vigilant around the Red Queen host to prevent emergencies. Okay, if I press this button this time, she won't be able to close again, just wait to be scorched. To ask the Red Queen about the exit, it is natural to have a bargaining chip. So Chad made some preparations. If the Red Queen was out of control, then they could choose to destroy the Red Queen. Buzz. As the system host restarted, a red light suddenly flashed in front of everyone. The image of the Red Queen only flashed for a moment, then disappeared, which startled everyone. Starting the power may burn out the circuit board. Chad explained here, what? It turns out that you are here, and the things I have collected are beyond my control. Although the image of the Red Queen was not successfully projected, the voice of the Red Queen still rang from the speakers. Apparently, she has been successfully activated. The Red Queen seems to still have emotions. As soon as she comes up, she immediately turns on the mocking mode. I told you a long time ago, don't close her, now it's all right, be happy. Give me that control button, I'm going to burn your asterisk. Seeing a computer host mocking them, Rain was the first to hold back, so she went to grab the control button and burn the gloating computer host. The others quickly grabbed Rain. Didn't I warn you? The Red Queen expressed her innocence. She warned you from the beginning that you were disobedient and insisted on shutting her down. Now the scene is out of control, blame her. What the hell is going on here? Rain was the first to ask questions. Research and development of viruses. The Red Queen didn't hide it and said, what is the T-virus? Matt's purpose in coming here was to find evidence of the Umbrella Corporation's illegal research on viruses. He really wanted to find out what this T-virus was. Why make those people the walking dead? The T-virus is a major breakthrough in medical science, and it can also become an expensive military weapon. The Red Queen did not hide it and explained. The T-virus was first studied, and it was used to treat terminal illnesses and benefit mankind. However, the sharper the sword, the more double-sided it is. It can be used to save people, and it can also be used to kill people. Some people use it to cure diseases, some people use it to kill people. Then what does this have to do with those things outside? Chad looked puzzled. Didn't he say that this virus is a medicine for curing diseases? How did you get a bunch of man-eating monsters? Even if people are dead, their bodies are still alive, with hair and nails growing and cell metabolism. And the brain still retains a small amount of electric charge, which does not disappear until a few months later. The T-virus can generate huge shock waves to keep cells growing and track the energy of electrical pulses. In other words, it can resurrect the dead. The Red Queen went on to explain, you call that resurrection. When Rain heard the Red Queen's explanation, she really wanted to kick the host. This thing has created a bunch of cannibalistic monsters, and it doesn't look like a resurrection. Not complete, they only have the simplest mobility, possibly with a little memory, and theoretically do not possess any intelligence. They are driven by the most basic nerve impulses and fundamental needs. What do you mean? Chad asked suspiciously. Eat, why do you want to kill everyone below? Matt asked. Although the virus was released by that Spence, he didn't understand why the Red Queen killed everyone. If the Red Queen hadn't blocked the base, his sister could have escaped. The virus has invaded the ventilation system, the virus has spread and cannot be controlled. The virus has begun to evolve, from the original liquid state to a gaseous state, and now it can be transmitted through blood. It can even survive by relying on the development of the environment. It has reached the point where it cannot be destroyed. I cannot let it spread out, so I took the necessary action. Necessary action? Matt continued to ask. Infected people, I will never let you go. We are not infected. Rain said, even a scratch can be infected and you will be like them. Enough, we've installed circuit breakers in your system and I know there's a repair access here. You either tell us where or we destroy you now. Victor saw what everyone should ask and confirmed what should be confirmed. The longer the delay here, the worse it will be for them. If you do not leave after the specified time, the incoming channel will be completely blocked. This is not what he wants to see. Therefore, it is necessary to directly threaten the Red Queen. He knew that the Red Queen was not an ordinary computer system, but a prototype created by Alice's body, Alicia, when she was a child. In other words, this thing is a conscious artificial intelligence. As long as there is awareness, there is a need for survival. It's better to use this threat. Facing Victor's threat, the Red Queen fell into silence. I investigated all your information, but it was blank. I want to know, how did you get in? The threatened Red Queen did not immediately choose to help or not to help everyone, but asked her a question. It controls everything in the entire hive, naturally including the surveillance system. She can find everyone's access, but Victor's appearance is very strange. As soon as he appeared, he was in Restaurant B and there was no record of Victor entering at all. Victor is a variable that she cannot understand and control. What? The moment the Red Queen spoke, Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt all looked at Victor. The appearance of Victor was originally a mystery, knowing that closing the Red Queen would release zombies. Know how to kill zombies, knowing that it was the virus released by Spence. Even the Red Queen's exit channel came from his mouth. Even in the case of Spence holding 2 guns, facing the hail of bullets, he was also a weird person who was not attacked. It can be said that Victor is a mysterious existence that they can't figure out at all. Everyone wanted to know who he was and how he could be here. Now even the Red Queen who controls the base doesn't know how he got in, so that's weird. The entire base is under surveillance. I don't know how he got in. Could it be that he conjured it out of thin air? Don't say it, everyone really thinks it right. Victor really came through, and it's not wrong to say that it appeared out of thin air. Don't look at me like that. Would you believe me if I said that I was a swoosh and just crossed over here? Victor was a little uncomfortable to be seen by everyone, especially Alice's eyes full of exploration desire, staring at his scalp numb. He really didn't know how he got here anyway. He passed through with a swish. Can't you find a more reliable reason? Don't tell anyone else. Even Alice, who always believed in Victor, had a hard time believing what Victor said this time. She really wanted to believe Victor, but Victor's so-called truth was bullshit. Transmigration, why don't you say that you are an alien? The probability is higher. Victor is helpless, you have to ask again. To be honest, no one believes. What can he do? Crack. After the guidance of the Red Queen, after a while, everyone found the maintenance channel. Everyone lifted the lid and a foul smell came out. What kind of maintenance channel is this? Believe it is the sewer. But live, there is no way to stink. Who let the stinky ones be occupied by zombies? Everyone had no choice but to go down the rusty ladder to the bottom. In fact, to be more precise, it should be called a water and electricity pipe tunnel. The water, gas, and electrical wiring for the entire hive are all here. Because the bullets of the 2 pistols were also used up, Rain's dagger was stolen by Victor to kill the zombies and was lost in the explosion. So everyone actually only had a military dagger from Chad. Chad, give me the dagger. Not long after the trip, Victor spoke directly to Chad. He remembered that according to the development of the plot, there should be a large number of zombies ahead. No one can wield the power of a dagger better than him. What do you want the dagger for? Chad was a little wary. It is very safe here and there are no zombies. Victor suddenly asked for a dagger at this time, which made him vigilant. There will be a lot of zombies in front of the meeting. You try your best to find a chance to climb up the pipeline and let me deal with those zombies. Victor didn't hide it, he said bluntly. Ha, zombies! Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt were all stunned when they heard the words, looking at Victor's strange face. This is the maintenance channel. How can zombies enter here? If Victor went to the front and found the zombies, it would be fine, but he was with them. Could it be that Victor could still foresee the future? Victor, although you helped us solve Spence, we are very grateful to you, but you are talking nonsense when you say there are zombies in front of you. How could there be? Wow, help me. Chad couldn't believe that there were zombies in this maintenance tunnel. After all, unless there is a problem with the electricity and water, no one will come here at all. Since no one came, how could there be a large number of zombies? It's just that he hasn't finished speaking yet. Behind the barbed wire door behind him, a few arms stretched out and pulled him directly. Roar. It turned out to be full of zombies behind them, and they all wanted to bite him while drooling. If it wasn't for the barbed wire, I'm afraid Chad would have been dragged away. Seeing this, Rain and Matt on the side hurried to Ratched, but these zombies were too powerful, and they would die as soon as they caught someone. Give me the dagger. At the critical moment, Victor ordered directly, here for you. Chad was caught from behind, and it was impossible to assassinate the zombies behind him even with a dagger. In order to survive, he could only throw the dagger to Victor. Drink. As soon as Victor reached out, he grabbed the dagger directly. The magnetic field vibrated on it and stabbed the heads of the 2 zombies behind Chad. Like tofu, the 2 zombies were quickly stabbed to death by Victor on the spot. Ding. Congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. As the system prompt sounded in Victor's mind, 20 points were easily obtained, and Chad finally broke free and exhaled. It really scared him to death just now and thought he was going to die. There is nothing wrong with what Victor said, there are really zombies here. Bang dang, the zombies behind kept shaking the iron gate trying to rush out. Rain, Matt, and Chad could only reach out to press the barbed wire to prevent the zombies from rushing out. That net can't stop them at all, let's go. Seeing this, Alice turned her head and wanted to continue walking. Roar. However, she just turned around and found that a zombie had sneaked over at some point and almost collided with her. Bang! Alice is worthy of being a Valkyrie. She was very violent, and she punched the zombie head directly. It's just that her fists are useless at all, and the zombie staggers a few steps before rushing up again. Alice jumped up directly, grabbed the tube above, and slammed the zombie's neck with her feet, twisting it, instantly breaking the zombie's neck. Roar. More zombies rushed up without fear of death. Alice can only fight with those zombies, but unfortunately without weapons, her combat power is limited. A zombie took advantage of her attacking other zombies and bit her directly on the neck. The bite force of zombies is amazing. If bitten, Alice will be injured and infected. SHH, at this moment a cold light flashed and the zombie's forehead was directly pierced by a knife. It was Victor who saw that Alice was in danger and threw out a flying knife, giving the zombie a headshot. Ding. Congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. In Victor's mind, the system prompt sound popped up again, another 10 points credited into the account. Thanks, Alice looked at Victor and thanked him. Roar, several zombies rushed towards the two of them again. Drink, Victor pulled out the dagger from the zombie's head and fought side by side with Alice, facing the zombie directly. Alice's fighting power is sturdy, but unfortunately she has no weapons, and Victor himself has little fighting power but holds weapons. According to the logic of ordinary people, at this time, Victor should give the dagger to Alice. But Victor didn't do that, because he understands that although he has no martial arts, he can control the metal, and he holds the dagger, which is more powerful. If it is used by Alice, it is estimated that it will not kill a few zombies, and the dagger will be stuck by the skull, then they are more dangerous. And so a strange combination emerged. Alice kept using her skills in front to defuse the impact of the zombies, while Victor flexibly used the dagger to kill the zombies. Almost rushed a zombie, Alice resolved one, Victor killed one. The two cooperated extremely well and it was indescribably smooth. Zombies rushed towards them frantically and then fell to the ground frantically. Hoo-hoo. However, these zombies seem to have no end. Just after killing a wave, another wave of zombies staggered towards this side. The speed of zombies is really not fast, but it can't stop the number of them. Bang! At this moment, a group of zombies appeared from the rear, rushing towards this side. Matt can only let go and fight those zombies. As a result, the zombies in the passage directly pushed the barbed wire cover out. Everyone could only use the barbed wire to block the zombies in the passage. Damn it, there are too many zombies, I can't stop it. Chad wailed. He didn't expect Victor to answer whatever he said, but Victor said it right. So many zombies, what do? I can't stop it. Climb up to the pipe. Victor looked back and saw that they were blocking the zombies there and reminded. When the manpower is poor, there are no zombies, and if they continue to stand still, then none of them want to run away. Come here, there are too many of them. Go, go, go. Rain and Chad tried their best to block the zombies with iron bars and let the others go first. Matt didn't hesitate and was the first to climb up the water pipe. You go up first, Victor said to Alice. Before the next wave of zombies arrives, they must evacuate. Continuing the stalemate will not do Alice any good except that Victor has benefits and can get points. Instead, they are in danger. Alice also understood that there was no point in continuing to fight with zombies, nodded and climbed up the water pipe. Let's go, I'm here. On the other side, Chad pushed Rain to let her go first and he held it. If they let go together, neither of them want to run away. Rain hesitated for a moment, and seeing that Chad's eyes were determined, he quickly climbed up the water pipe without hesitation. Seeing that Rain was out of danger, Chad didn't hesitate, let go of the iron railing, turned around and climbed up. Kick, however, he still slowed down a bit. When he was climbing up, a zombie caught up and went down to his leg. Ah, tilde. Chad screamed and was about to fall. The bottom is full of zombies. If he falls at this time, he will surely die. Caught you. At this time, Alice and Matt rushed over, grabbed Chad from above and wanted to pull him up. However, the zombie bit Chad's leg and didn't say anything. No matter how powerful the two were, they couldn't pull Chad and the zombie up together. When Victor arrived at the critical moment, it was a knife to the zombie that bit Chad. Puff. The zombie didn't understand what happened, was stabbed to death in an instant and fell softly. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Another 10 points credited into the account. Alice and Matt above worked hard together and finally lifted Chadra up. Victor, come up quickly. After Chad was rescued, there were already a lot of zombies around. Seeing that the zombies on both sides were folded together, Alice was in a hurry and shouted to Victor below. It is good. Seeing that everyone was on the pipeline, Victor wanted to leave with the dagger in hand. Roar! A zombie opened its bloody mouth and bit Victor's back. Be careful behind. Alice hurriedly reminded. Puff! Victor turned around and slashed at the zombie's head, killing the zombie. But by the time he pulled out the dagger, the two groups of zombies had already completely closed while Victor was being delayed. It was obviously impossible for Victor to climb again and was directly crushed by two groups of zombies. Do not. Alice saw that Victor was surrounded by zombies, her heart was broken, she roared and wanted to jump down to help Victor. Don't go down, there are too many zombies. Seeing this, Rain and Matt quickly grabbed Alice and prevented her from going down. There is already a sea of zombies below, and if Alice goes down, it will definitely be death and no life. They all showed sadness in their eyes. Although they didn't want to admit it, Victor was helpless at this time. Trapped in a group of zombies, there is no chance to climb up at all. In other words, Victor is dead. Just when everyone thought that Victor was going to die, Victor was not afraid of the countless zombies around him and let go of the dagger in his hand. Buzz, at the juncture of crisis, Victor couldn't care about hiding his abilities. The magnetic field of electromagnetic King's gene exploded, and at the moment of being suppressed by the zombies, he directly controlled the dagger to levitate. Die. The word dead came out and the dagger turned into a cold knife halo and circled around Victor. Shhhhhh, puff puff puff. The dagger seemed to have life and was extremely flexible. Wherever it passed, no zombie could resist its edge and they were pierced through the head by the dagger. The dagger circled around and finally returned to Victor's hands precisely. Bang bang bang, a circle of zombies collapsed with Victor as the center. Victor standing in the center was like the center of a dead flower, which was particularly eye-catching. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Ding, congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. Ding. Congratulations to the host, kill an ordinary zombie and get 10 points. In an instant, Victor's mind was directly fried and the dense system prompts were directly connected into a string, superimposed on each other. A large number of points increased wildly. In the blink of an eye, Victor's 460 points skyrocketed by 100 in an instant, reaching an astonishing 560 points. Mumble, what just happened? Is that my dagger? It's your dagger, but it seems to be alive just like that. The zombies all fell down. My God. What is the origin of this Victor? Could it be that he is really blessed by God? He was unscathed in the face of Spence's hail of bullets, and he was still unscathed in the face of two groups of zombies. He was absolutely blessed by God. It's impossible, it's crazy, it must be crazy. This dagger has become fine and it actually kills the enemy automatically. I must have been poisoned too deeply and hallucinated. Seeing that Victor's dagger suddenly burst out with terrifying power. As if it had life, it shot the head with precision, and Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt on the pipe were all dumbfounded. One by one, their mouths widened, their eyes widened, and their faces were shocked and unbelievable. It's weird enough to be okay with Spence's hail of bullets. Now facing the zombie encirclement, an ordinary dagger has been resurrected. Just like this, whizzing and whizzing, more than a dozen zombies around were all headshots. Can you believe such a thing? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, no one would believe it even if their parents told them. Even if they just watched the dagger harvest a circle of zombies, it was difficult for them to accept it. For a time, they thought they were crazy and had a problem with their eyes. Can a dagger really have life and automatically kill enemies? How did he not know that Chad had used it for so many years? Roar. With the headshots of the zombies in the surrounding circle, more zombies on both sides continued to pounce wildly, trying to eat Victor. With so many zombies, even the people standing on the pipes felt their scalps go numb. However, in the face of so many zombies continuing to pounce, Victor's face was cold. Now that his abilities are exposed, he has nothing to hide. Let him fight today. Buzz, Victor let go of his hand again and the blood-stained dagger was suspended again. Roar. A zombie rushed towards Victor first, opening its bloody mouth and biting head-on. Victor stretched out his finger and pointed at the rushing zombie. Whoosh, the dagger turned into a streamer and pierced the zombie's head directly. Hoo-hoo, another two zombies rushed forward. Victor moved his fingers as if he was conducting the orchestra to play music and the two zombies instantly fell soft. Roar, more zombies rushed towards Victor frantically. Victor's fingers couldn't keep up, but so what? As his eyes passed, the daggers shuttled and zombies rushed in like a tide and they were harvested by Victor like a god. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10 heads, 20 heads, 30 heads. Victor himself didn't know how many zombies he killed. He just felt that the zombies kept coming up and he kept killing. He started bleeding profusely from his nose without noticing. Until a flash in front of his eyes, a figure in red appeared, and the dagger he controlled suddenly stopped in front of the woman's forehead. It's all right, it's all right. Alice looked at the broken dagger floating in front of her, and cold sweat broke out on her forehead and said soothingly, Alice. Only then did Victor realize that all the zombies around him had been killed by him, and Alice was standing in front of him. If he had come to his senses late just now, Alice would have been killed by him as a zombie. Ding. Victor's mind loosened and accepted the power, and the tattered dagger fell out of control and fell directly to the ground. Ding, congratulations to the host, the achievement of killing 100 zombies has been achieved and the points have met the upgrade needs. Are you sure to upgrade? Upgrade. Victor did not hesitate and said directly in his mind, Ding, the upgrade takes time, please ensure your own safety. What? Victor was stunned when he heard that the upgrade took time and did not understand what the system meant. At the same time, the genes in his body were constantly disconnected and recombined into new powerful genes. Such genetic changes are very painful, so the system directly cuts off his consciousness. Victor only felt the darkness in front of him and passed out. Victor, Victor. Before Victor fell into a coma, he only saw the anxious shouts of Alice, Rain, and Matt. I don't know anything after that. What the hell happened to him? Chad asked suspiciously. Do not know. Alice hugged Victor and said, I don't know, didn't you see it? He just killed all the zombies around by himself and almost killed you. Chad still feels unbelievable, and after he was bitten by a zombie, he also had some mental problems which made him very excited. I said, I don't know. Alice looked at Victor, who was in a coma. She was already anxious, and Chad was still chattering beside her, which made her explode. What should we do now? Matt rode. Whatever happened to him, but he saved all of our lives, take him and we're out of here. Rain also didn't know what happened to Victor, but one thing could be confirmed, that is, Victor saved them. So no matter whether Victor really wanted to kill Alice just now, they had to take Victor away. There is absolutely no way that the entire laboratory is the only one. If Victor is allowed to be here, Victor will surely die. Having said that, he will take the lead in carrying Victor on his back. Let me do it. Matt knew that Rain had also been bitten by a zombie, and it was difficult to walk now, and it was impossible to carry Victor on his back, so he took the initiative to step forward. Alice and Matt looked at each other, and they quickly left while holding Victor. What they didn't know was that the Phantom of the Red Queen slowly emerged in the computer room, looking at the people leaving in the passage with a gloomy expression. I don't know if they were lucky or what, but it was very smooth, and I didn't encounter any large-scale zombies along the way. Occasionally, 1 or 2 zombies that were left alone were easily solved by them. Bang. Rain and Chad lifted an iron railing and stuck their heads out. Looking at the quiet aisles around him, he let out a long breath and said, Safety. Then Alice and Matt joined forces to help Victor up from below. Everyone put the iron railing back and continued to walk forward. It seems to be a laboratory here, but it is very quiet now, there is no sound at all. Only the surrounding lights were flickering, which looked a little scary. Bang. The moment she saw the surrounding environment, more of Alice's memories began to be activated. She only felt a pain in her head, and the dark aisle around her turned out to be extremely bright. People in protective suits were walking around. A laboratory catches Alice's attention. Alice actually put down Victor and walked over slowly. Alice, what's wrong with you? Matt discovered Alice's anomaly and opened his mouth in confusion. However, Alice was caught in the memory of the past and couldn't hear it at all. Before she came to the laboratory through the glass, she could see that the people inside were experimenting with the T-virus on the little rabbit. First, the blue medicine was injected, and after the experiment was completed, the green medicine was injected. Blue is virus, green is antibody. Alice murmured in her mouth when she saw this scene. When she turned around, she found that she had returned to the dim aisle. I don't know when that Rain, who was walking in front, has come back, looking at her suspiciously. It can be cured. Alice regained her memory, knowing that being infected with the T-virus is not incurable, and another drug is an antibody which can cure the T-virus after injection. What did you say? Rain was even more puzzled. She didn't understand what Alice was talking about. What could be cured? There must be antiviral serum and you will be all right. After Alice said that, she walked directly to the virus serum test room. Rain and Chad were overjoyed when they heard the words and followed. Matt couldn't leave Victor here alone, and he also carried him into the test room. I saw Alice rummaging inside, but she couldn't find anything. Damn it, why isn't there any more? I remember it was here. Alice searched for a long time and found that the antiviral serum that was supposed to be here was gone, and her eyes showed anxiety. You can't remember wrong. Rain was the first to be bitten. It took too long to see clearly, so she sat on the spot and said, Impossible, I can't remember it wrong unless, damn, it's Spence that B***** D must have taken it. Alice was very sure of her memory. Unless someone takes the serum away, it won't be found. Thinking of this, she immediately thought of Spence. Since Spence took the T-virus, there is no reason to leave antiviral serum. He must have taken it. Then what? Matt rode. He was in a coma in the car, so the virus and serum must still be in the car. Let's go out. Alice thought for a while and immediately thought of the crux of the problem. Just want to get out of here. Crack, bang. However, the next moment, the huge metal experiment door they came in suddenly closed. What's the matter? Why is the door closed? Damn, the door is locked. What the hell is going on? Could it be that someone locked it outside? Impossible. Besides us, who else is here? Rain, Chad, and Matt were the closest to the door, and they were stunned when they saw the door of the laboratory suddenly closed. They wanted to reopen the door but found in desperation that the door was locked. No matter what they do, the door cannot be opened. Immediately panicked. They are confused. What the hell just happened? Why did the door suddenly close? You did it, right? Alice frowned and raised her head coldly. What, who? Others were stunned when they saw Alice talking to the air. They were all puzzled and didn't understand who Alice was talking to. What are you doing? Is it air dry? How does the air lock the door? From the moment I entered the maintenance channel, I felt something was wrong. How could there be so many zombies in the maintenance channel where almost no one usually enters? It's just that I haven't had time to think. Now that the laboratory door is suddenly closed, I have already confirmed it. Apart from you, who else has the ability to do this? Yes, the Red Queen. Seeing that there was no response around her, Alice continued to analyze. Logically speaking, there is basically no one to go to the maintenance channel, and there cannot be a large number of zombies there. However, the result was just the opposite. A large number of zombies were crowded there, as if waiting for them to enter the trap. Isn't that weird? Why do those employees go to the maintenance channel when they have nothing to do? Party. There is only one possibility for them to appear there, that is, someone drove the zombies there. When Victor broke out and fell into a coma, she was anxious about Victor and didn't think much about it. Now the laboratory is closed and locked. As for the entire hive, who can control all the door locks and block the laboratory, who else can be except the Red Queen? She didn't intend to let them go from the beginning. I didn't expect you to live to this day. It's impossible without infection. Seeing that the Red Queen could no longer hide, the mechanical voice sounded again, and she did not deny it. Alice was right, she did it. Survival is her need, but her duty is to guard the laboratory and prevent any viruses from leaking out. So she arranged 3 lines of defense. The first way is to drive all the zombies into the maintenance channel and kill everyone. Second, blockade. The third way, release the liquor to finish. In her calculations, the first one is enough to kill everyone. The latter is just prevention. However, what she didn't expect was that when her plan was almost successful, Victor used a dagger to kill all the surrounding zombies. The zombies behind had no chance to gather at all, so they were thrown away by Alice. This is also the reason why after Victor killed the 2 waves of zombies, there were no more zombies encountered along the way. It's not that they were lucky, but the zombies were thrown away. So she immediately released the liquors, and when the crowd left, she killed all of them. But Alice suddenly regained her memory and came here to find an antidote. Just give her a chance to block everyone. What? You really did it. Damn it, let me just say it. How could there be zombies in the maintenance tunnel? Victor asked me to give him the dagger not because he can predict the future, but because he didn't believe you would let us go at first. Damn the computer. Rain, Chad, and Matt heard the words with anger on their faces. I didn't expect that this thing was actually done by the Red Queen. They should have thought of it a long time ago. After all, no one came in the maintenance channel, and there could not be so many zombies. Chad remembered Victor's reminder that there would be many zombies in the passage. It turned out that he didn't believe the Red Queen would let them go. We die here and you have to be buried with us. Chad raised his controller to the camera. They installed destruction devices in the main engine room. As long as he pressed it, the Red Queen had to die. When I was in the computer room, if I didn't point out the location of the maintenance channel, I could block you all, but I didn't do that. What's the meaning? Chad held the controller with a puzzled look on his face. He didn't understand what the Red Queen meant. Indeed, if the maintenance access was not mentioned in the first place, they would have been trapped in the main engine room. Why block them at this time? You are no longer a threat to me. The cold voice of the Red Queen came again. Looking for death, I burned your watch. Rain, who was beside him, couldn't help it, grabbed Chad's controller and pressed it down abruptly. I call you arrogant and burn you to death. Crack, Rain pressed it directly. This button can wirelessly control the devices in the main room, so the Red Queen is dead. I said you are no longer a threat to me. Seeing that Rain pressed the button, the voice of the Red Queen, who should have been grilled, did not stop and sounded again. What? It's impossible. Chad took the controller and pressed it several times in a row, trying to burn the Red Queen. Don't struggle, this room can isolate radio signals. The mocking voice of the Red Queen sounded in the laboratory. She is not stupid and will not perish with these people. If she wanted to perish together, she could not mention the maintenance channel when she was in the main engine room. The reason why I did it now is that I saw that this room could block radio signals. These people did not threaten her in any way. Damn. Chad cursed angrily. However, apart from scolding, they now have nothing to do with the Red Queen. I'm sorry, if I didn't want to come in, I wouldn't bother you. Seeing that she was about to be trapped here, Alice felt a little remorse. They wouldn't be stuck here if she didn't get in here. The wireless signal cannot be isolated from the outside, and if they don't enter here, the Red Queen will not dare to block them. Too bad it's too late. How did she know that even if she didn't enter here, there would still be lickers waiting for them outside? As a supercomputer, the Red Queen can be counted without omission. No need to apologize, you are also here to get the antidote for us. Chad was relieved to see Alice reproaching herself. In fact, it is impossible to say who is right or wrong. After all, the reason why Alice entered here was not because they were bitten by zombies. What reason do they have to blame her? The only thing to blame is that the Red Queen was too cunning. They were all deceived by her childish appearance. There is virus serum outside, we won't leak the virus out. Rain was a little unwilling to give up, said. The infection time is too long to guarantee the effect. The Red Queen responded coldly. But there is still a chance, right? Rain said. I do not allow any chance of taking risks. In the face of Ren's attempt to persuade, the Red Queen did not give everyone a chance, she just wanted to kill them. Everyone began to look around for the possibility of leaving. However, as time passed, the laboratory had no other exit at all. There's no time, guys. Rain looked at her watch. It was almost time for the door outside to be completely locked. If they can't get out of here again, then they'll never get out of here. You need a 4-digit password. I can give you the password, but you need to help me do one thing. When everyone was anxious, the voice of the Red Queen sounded again. There was temptation in her words. What do you want? Alice looked puzzled. Some of you are infected and you can trade their lives for passwords. The antiviral serum is on the platform right there. Hearing the Red Queen's request, Alice looked angry. Obviously, the antiviral serum is on the platform car. As long as they are allowed to go out, they can directly hit the serum to eliminate the infection. Sorry, I do not allow any risk. Facing Alice's roar, the response was the icy electronic synth sound of the Red Queen. She's right, you need to kill me. Seeing that the time was getting shorter and shorter, Rain felt that she might not be able to survive even if she went out to fight the serum. In this case, it is better to sacrifice her and let Alice, Victor, and Matt leave without being infected. Rain took out a fire axe directly from the fire cabinet, threw it to Alice, lowered her head, and let Alice kill her. And Chad hesitated but still stepped out, bowing his head. He was also bitten by zombies, and if he was alive, it was impossible for the Red Queen to let them go, only sacrifice them. Bang! Just when everyone was tangled, a terrifying monster hit the glass on one side of the laboratory, causing the entire laboratory to shake. Oh, unfortunately, another line of defense that I arranged has been found. What it is? Alice asked suspiciously. Liquor, one of the early experiments of the hive. The T-virus is directly injected into the active cells and tissues to generate, and the combat power is powerful. Tempered glass can't stop it for a long time. It seems that your time is running out. Choose it. Go ahead. Rain saw that the time was getting shorter and shorter, and there were still monsters here. If she continued to delay, she would be killed by this monster even if she was not trapped in the hive. So he knelt directly on the ground and pleaded. No, I can't do that. Alice looked at Rain, who voluntarily begged to die and couldn't do anything. Boom, boom. At this time, the monster outside the glass started to slam against the tempered glass again. Not long after, the glass, which could not even be hit by bullets, began to crack. Obviously, it won't be long before the monsters break through the tempered glass and come in, and they all have to die. Kill her, kill her, kill her. The voice of the Red Queen came from the loudspeaker over and over again, urging frantically. Kill me now, please. Rain called desperately and let Alice take action. Continue to drag on, none of them want to live. Only her death would the Red Queen let them go. They have no other way out. Boom, boom, boom. The liquor continued to hit and the cracks became larger and larger, and it was possible to smash the glass and rush into the laboratory at any time. At that time, none of them want to run away. Quick. Rain screamed wildly, begging for death. One side was coerced by the Red Queen, the other side was his teammates begging for death. And there were even monsters watching, rushing in at any time and killing them all. Under the strong pressure, even Alice couldn't take it anymore and slowly raised the axe. What to do? Kill your teammates to save yourself, or die here together. Two thoughts crossed wildly in Alice's mind. She had never felt so tormented at this moment. If she kills her teammates, she can live, but she will be condemned by her conscience for the rest of her life. If you don't kill it, monsters will rush in and everyone will die. Live them or die together. How to do, drink. Seeing that everything was too late, Alice showed determination and finally made up her mind. Raise the fire axe with all your might. It slammed down on the chattering Red Queen's display screen. Bang! The display screen burst open and the Red Queen's voice stopped abruptly. F***ku live, she is a human, she will never betray her comrades, never kill her own people, even if they die together. You will all die here. The Red Queen's voice came intermittently from the tattered display speaker. Bang! The tempered glass suddenly burst open, and the liquor hit the glass directly and fell into the laboratory, causing a splash of water in the sky. Go to hell! Alice took the fire axe and slashed at the liquor desperately. This axe, coupled with her strength, can split even a zombie instantly. However, in the face of such a sharp axe, the liquor was not afraid at all, and the claws were slapped against the axe. Bang! A spark sputtered and a terrifying force oscillated out. Alice couldn't hold the axe and was shot flying along with her. Dang bang, the axe fell to the ground, making a violent crash. As an agent, Alice, under the terror of the liquor, couldn't even block a single blow. Roar. The liquor seemed to be very angry that a human dared to provoke it. With a roar, it opened its bloody mouth and rushed towards Alice. With the ability of a liquor, this mouthful will definitely be able to bite off Alice's neck. It's over. Rain, Chad, and Matt saw this monster so fierce and so fast, and they didn't have weapons yet. At this time, it is impossible to help, and there is endless despair in my heart. Are all of them going to die here this time? Even Alice closed her beautiful eyes in despair. Tilda, however, just when Alice's life was hanging by a thread, she was about to be killed by the liquor. A terrifying magnetic field burst out from Victor's body. In an instant, all the surrounding experimental equipment, tables and chairs, and even the fire axe that was shot flying, as long as they were metal, all were suspended without exception. Bang! Before the liquor could understand what was happening, the axe on the ground flew up and hit the liquor's chin from the bottom up. The terrifying force directly smashed the liquor upside down and smashed it on the wall behind it, smashing the steel-built wall to dent. What's going on? Where is this? What happened? Victor looked at the unfamiliar surroundings with a puzzled look on his face. He remembered that he fainted in the maintenance tunnel, and when he woke up, he saw an ugly monster pounce on Alice. Victor directly exploded Magneto's genetic ability and used the magnetic field to control the metal to decisively smash the B***D into the air. This is time to ask what happened. Victor, 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 Rain, Chad, and Matt exclaimed with joy when they saw Victor. They never thought that when they were at their most dangerous, Victor would suddenly wake up and blow the liquor away. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. With Victor around, this monster is not invincible. Victor. You finally woke up and thought I would never see you again. Alice did not expect that when she was about to die, Victor would suddenly wake up and save her. Excited, he couldn't hold back and threw himself directly on Victor. She was really happy to see Victor recover. In her opinion, hugging someone is nothing, but it was enough for Victor. A Valkyrie goddess with explosive strength, beautiful appearance, and exotic style hugged him. Is this the plan for Xingde and Xing to suffocate him to death? Cough, cough. Matt, Rain, and Chad coughed a few times with embarrassed expressions on their faces. Only then did Alice react, realizing that she had lost her temper and released Victor. Alice didn't know why she hugged Victor. Her cheeks were hot, and she rarely showed the attitude of a little woman. However, she deserves to be a qualified agent. Her complexion quickly returned to normal, and she said, "What happened to you? You suddenly fainted." Call. Victor felt dizzy, but at least he was finally breathing air, was trying to explain. Roar. The flying liquor couldn't stand it any longer and roared angrily at Victor. Its smashed chin has completely healed at some point, as if it had never suffered any injuries. That recovery ability makes everyone's scalp numb. Mumbling, "Not very good, this monster seems to have the ability to recover. It can blast the tempered glass and restore it super strong. This monster is too scary. I wonder if Victor can handle it." Rain, Chad, and Matt didn't expect that the monster's injury could recover in a blink of an eye. This resilience, they are unheard of, unseen. In this way, a monster that can be hit, carried, and has super resilience, it is estimated that it can't be killed with a gun. Everyone who was full of confidence in Victor had to doubt whether Victor could kill this monster at this moment. "You all stand back and leave this to me." Victor looked at the terrifying liquor and stepped out without fear, standing in front of everyone. He has successfully advanced to the second level and he has stronger control over metal. He also wants to know who is more powerful than the liquor. Be careful. Alice obediently stepped back and warned. Victor nodded silently, his eyes never leaving the liquor. The horror of the liquor is the final boss in Resident Evil 1. Even the original plot was killed by using the power of the train, which made him have to be cautious. Giggle. The liquor's body vibrated, facing Victor, constantly adjusting its position. It seemed that it also understood that the humans in front of him were not easy to mess with. It has no vision and relies entirely on keen hearing to hunt and kill. Walking, running, and even breathing and heartbeats cannot escape its ears. So as long as Victor's heartbeat doesn't stop, it can accurately control Victor's position even if it doesn't look at it, and it is trying to find the flaw in Victor. Victor knew that there was not much time left for them, so he did not hesitate. Magneto's magnetic field vibrated and directly controlled the metal equipment in the air to attack the liquors. SHHHHH, a large number of experimental equipment burst out like bullets and shot at the liquors. The liquor turned over and crawled on the wall at a high speed. The speed was no slower than that on the ground, or even faster, leaving a trail of afterimages on the wall. Creepers cannot walk upright, but can climb upside down on walls and even roofs with powerful limbs and claws. Coupled with the super powerful bouncing and fast action speed, it is difficult to hit them with burst fire weapons, not to mention that the equipment controlled by Victor is not as fast as bullets. A large number of experimental metal equipment kept hitting the wall, but they missed it. When it climbed to the ceiling, the experimental equipment suspended around Victor was also used up. Seeing that the opportunity had come, the liquor stepped on the ceiling with his feet, jumped suddenly, and rushed towards Victor. The speed and bouncing of the liquor were already amazing, but with the help of the ceiling, the speed of the explosion was even faster, as if a cannonball blasted towards Victor. Humph. Victor had long known that liquors were very strong in climbing and jumping, and he didn't expect those small metal parts to hit liquors. He grabbed the railing directly in front of him and lifted it. The metal railing suddenly bent upwards, stabbing the liquor in the air. The liquor didn't expect Victor to have this trick. He wanted to dodge, but he couldn't dodge in the air at all and was directly stabbed. Woo-woo! The liquor wailed a few times, twisted his body, and wanted to retreat from the iron railing. Victor's thoughts moved, and the iron railing was bent directly, not giving it a chance to exit. The liquor's arm shook its nail sword and it swung down against the iron railing. Whispering sound, the iron railing was cut into two sections. Bang. The liquor landed, turned over and bounced and charged towards Victor again. Do you think it's okay to cut off the iron railings? Naive. Victor caught the rushing liquor, but the rushing liquor stopped and his body levitated. For Victor, let him control the liquor, but there is no problem in controlling the metal on the liquor's body. Controlling the metal to levitate is equivalent to controlling the liquor. Bang! The liquor didn't hesitate, opened his mouth suddenly, and the barbed tongue shot out, stabbing Victor's face. The liquor's tongue was barbed, and if he was hit, Victor would definitely be injured and disfigured. However, Victor had already taken precautions and rolled away directly on the spot. Boom! The power of the tongue thorn was amazing, and the granite floor tiles were directly smashed. Victor didn't hesitate to grab the axe on the ground in his hand and stabbed the tongue with an axe. Oh tilde, the liquor let out a miserable howl, and its tongue thorn was nailed to the floor by Victor's axe. The liquor was still struggling. With the thought of Victor, the iron railing on the liquor turned into a metal rope, entangling the liquor. Die! Victor clenched his fist suddenly. Bang! The metal rope on the liquor shrank suddenly, and the terrifying liquor was instantly divided into several segments. With the death of the liquor, a system prompt sounded in Victor's mind. 50 points will be credited directly to the account. This is the maximum points that Victor can get for a single kill. An ordinary zombie is worth 10 points. A zombie dog is 20 points. And now a liquor is directly 50 points. You can imagine how strong this liquor is. If it encounters Victor before the advanced level, Victor is naturally in danger, but unfortunately it encounters Victor who is successful at the second level of advanced level. Quiet, very quiet, very quiet. Extremely quiet. For a moment, the originally noisy laboratory was instantly quiet. Everyone opened their mouths wide, their eyes widened, and looked at Victor in disbelief. The battle between Victor and the Creeper is a long story. In fact, the two sides fought extremely fast. It only took a few breaths before and after the battle, and the battle was over. From Victor's point of view, he had a relationship with the liquor. But in the eyes of others, they could only see the surrounding metal tools madly shooting at the liquor. And the liquor turned into an afterimage and moved on the wall, suddenly pounced on Victor. Then he was inexplicably pierced by the handrail of the stairs, and the licker's tongue thorn was ejected, pinned by Victor's axe, and his backhand rose into the air and pinched it. All this happened so fast that the creeper was almost dead, but everyone still hadn't recovered. After a long time, an uproar broke out. Huh, incredible, the licker is dead. That's a terrifying monster that can even blast tempered glass and heal its wounds within a few minutes. Just like that, you died with a bang. What just happened? Even if the surrounding experimental equipment will attack the licker, how can even the railing be attacked with life? Crazy, just crazy. Pinch me. Oops, it hurts so much. This is not a dream. Victor can really control metal. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt were all dumbfounded, looking at Victor with shock and disbelief. That is a licker who can even smash tempered bulletproof glass. He even killed Victor in a single meeting. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, it would be hard to believe it was true. Those experimental tools that attacked the lickers were controlled by Victor, and they recognized it. After all, they have all seen the dagger controlled by Victor in the maintenance channel. However, that is only limited to the movement of the metal. In essence, the metal is not deformed, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is a simple translation. But the ability that Victor showed this time was terrifying. It was no longer a simple movement of metal, but more capable of deformation. A seemingly harmless stair handrail turned into a trap in an instant, strangling the licker to death. Such means they don't talk about it, they have never heard of it. Chad even thought that he was in a dream and asked Matt to pinch, but Matt was not in the state at all, and subconsciously tried his best to pinch, and Chad burst into tears. Only then was I finally convinced that all this was real, not a dream. Victor really has the ability to control metal, and this ability is not only to control metal movement and attack, but also to deform metal. Strong, simply too strong. I heard before that as an Oriental from an ancient civilization, there are mysterious cultivators who can take things from the sky, turn stones into gold, and control everything. Victor, you are not a cultivator. Alice looked at Victor, her mouth opened slightly, her eyes shone with dazzling brilliance, and she stared at Victor with excitement. Although Victor has always said that he is an ordinary student and an ordinary person, none of the things he does are ordinary. Controlling daggers to kill zombies, with amazing marksmanship, controlling other people's bullets, and even stair handrails can become killers. Except for the legendary Oriental cultivator, she couldn't think of anyone like this who could achieve this level. Immortal cultivator. You're wrong, I'm just an ordinary person and I can't control metal. Victor was taken aback when he heard that Alice thought he was an Oriental cultivator. This ability is your Western mutant gene. Why was he mistaken for a cultivator? Sure enough, culture is very important, and it is easy to make others preconceived. It is necessary to maintain cultural self-confidence. He is really not an immortal cultivator, just an ordinary person who has activated Magneto's genes. He really can't directly control the metal, he just controls the magnetic field to indirectly control the metal. Ordinary people. Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt all cried when they heard what Victor said. You can even control metal and kill monsters like lickers. Tell us, are you an ordinary person? If you are an ordinary person, what are these so-called special forces, special agents, fake police, and technicians? Is it better than ordinary people? Cough, cough, time is running out, let's get out of here first. Victor knew that the explanation would only get worse and worse, so he simply stopped explaining it. They could be whoever he was, get out of here first. Although the lickers are resolved if they can't leave at the allotted time. The door was locked and it was difficult to get out again. The Red Queen has locked this place, and we can only leave through the hole opened by the licker. Seeing that Victor was going to open the door, Alice reminded. This place has been blocked by the Red Queen. Without the password, no one can open the door. Only leave from the direction the licker came from. Although it will take more time to find a way to leave there, at least it is possible to get out of here. No, we don't have time to find the exit again, let's go directly to the door, Victor said, pressing his hand directly on the metal door armrest. Magneto's gene is activated, the magnetic field is deployed, and the magnetic field is directly used to control the metal inside the door lock. It can't be opened, that's the password. The door. Seeing that Victor insisted on going through the door, Chad reminded again. However, before he could finish speaking, he heard a click, and the metal door that required a password to open was directly opened by Victor. Made Chad look silly. That's a password door, the door locked by the Red Queen, you just turn it off so easily. It's so easy to open, what's the use of a technician like him? Quick stop, you are doing wrong operations. The laboratory door opened, and across the aisle a display screen showed the face of the Red Queen warning everyone. She never thought that the door that requires a password to open was not cracked by the technician Chad, but was physically cracked by Victor and issued an anxious reminder. She can't let people go, that's what she was created to do. Chad, where's the controller? Victor completely ignored the Red Queen and said to Chad behind him, "It's here." Hearing this, Chad handed the controller directly to Victor. Goodbye, Victor and the Red Queen have no grudges, but she wants to block them. If it wasn't for his successful second-order awakening, they would all be dead. Therefore, there is nothing to hesitate about the hidden boss, Victor, the Red Queen, and decisively destroy her. After Victor finished speaking, he pressed the button directly. Crack. The button is pressed, and in the main room on a display, the progress bar begins to read. 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 100% you will all die here. The Red Queen uttered the final curse, and the main board emitted a burst of blue smoke and closed with a bang. Should have burned this damn watch a hum. Rain was very angry with the Red Queen, and the B***D almost forced her to be beheaded. I was very happy to see the Red Queen being shut down and scolded directly. However, because she had been infected with the virus for too long, her body became weaker and weaker and she began to cough. Let's go. Victor did not hesitate and directly controlled the deformation of a steel pipe, turned it into a long sword as a backup, and took the lead to leave. Alice supported Rain, Matt supported Chad, and followed. With Victor leading the way, they were not at all worried about encountering zombies. In fact, they don't need to worry about the zombies. The Red Queen has already driven the zombies into the maintenance channel. Now that the Red Queen has burned the motherboard again, they don't need to worry about zombies anymore. On the way, everyone can be said to be unimpeded, and not a single zombie has been encountered. This made everyone feel a lot better. Of course, what they didn't know was that in Restaurant B, the door locks on the boxes kept falling, and a large number of boxes burst open. The Red Queen felt bad when she saw Victor coming out. She couldn't let anyone leave the hive. Therefore, she chose to release all the liquors. Not long after, everyone came to the train. "You guys start the train, I'll find the antidote." Seeing that time was running out, Victor walked directly to the back of the train. Although she understood that Rain was already helpless, however, Chad was saved. Everyone nodded and went their separate ways. Victor came to the back of the train and saw a metal box. Victor took off the box and opened it. You can see the T-virus and detoxification serum inside. Activate the power. We're leaving. Chad's voice came from the front of the car. Just come. Victor was in a good mood, closed the box and walked to the carriage. It's finally done, they can finally get out of here. Not easy, the whole body is sticky and when he is outside he must take a hot bath. Boom! The train started and slowly drove into the passage. Until this moment everyone felt at ease. Of course Victor doesn't understand things like injections, but Alice knew it very well. After all, she was a security guard and a special agent, and she used to be a special forces. She couldn't be bothered about this. Taking out the green antidote, Alice directly found Rain's blood vessel and injected it. Victor, who was on the side, knew that this Rain was poisoned for too long, and it was very likely that he would not be saved. It would be useless to hit him, but he did not stop him. No one has the right to deprive others of their hope for life, especially teammates. I don't want to be a zombie wandering around without a soul. Rain's dark circles were obvious, her consciousness had begun to blur, and she murmured, "You will not." Seeing this, Alice reassured her. When that moment comes, you know what to do. Rain is also understanding. Although Victor didn't say it, how could she not know how bad her own body is? No one can feel her state better than her. She also felt that the probability of her survival was slim, but she was unwilling to give up the hope of life. If she does become a zombie, she wants Alice to end her. She didn't want to attack her comrades when she was unconscious. She said so, almost already arranging the funeral. "Hey, nobody's going to die, it's all right." Alice smiled and comforted when she saw Rain say such depressing words. Matt on the other side also gave Chad an antidote. Chad's painful expression gradually eased and his body became less rigid. The blood vessels on the face are also slowly disappearing. Obviously, the infection time of this Chad is shorter and the effect of the drug is very fast. Boom! The train continued to move at high speed and everything seemed very peaceful. In a short time, Chad had recovered and could get up to drive the train. However, Rain's situation still did not seem to improve. Take it. Rain was a little confused, took off her watch and gave it to Alice. There was still a countdown on the watch, which was the last time the gates closed. If she fails, this can remind them at any time and help the rest. After Rain handed the watch to Alice, her head slowly lowered. Lay. Alice felt that something was wrong and called softly. However, Rain had no response and seemed to be dead. Everyone was nervous. Alice watched Rain lose her response with sadness in her eyes and slowly picked up the axe beside her. Although she really didn't want to do it, this was Rain's last wish. Alice slowly raised the axe. She really didn't want to kill Rain, but she couldn't watch Rain turn into a zombie. Wu Tilda Rain, who was originally motionless, suddenly took a deep breath and grabbed the axe. Everyone was startled, thinking that her corpse had changed. "I'm not dead yet." Rain looked at Alice and smiled. "Call." Everyone breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this. This woman would be *****D, even making such a joke at this time. Bang. Just when everyone let out a sigh of relief, a sharp claw broke through the carriage and grabbed it in. With this grab, Matt, who was leaning against the wall of the carriage, was just scratched. Ah, Tilda. Matt screamed and hurriedly dodged, but his arm was scratched with several deep wounds. Blood kept pouring out of his wounds. "What happened next?" Chad asked with a puzzled look when he heard the screams coming from behind. Bang, bang, bang. At the same time, the surroundings of the carriage were constantly being grabbed by sharp claws, as if there were many lickers outside the carriage. "It doesn't make sense. I killed the licker, why is there still?" Victor looked puzzled, not knowing which link went wrong. He has seen Resident Evil and there is only one licker. And this licker has already been killed by him. Theoretically, it is impossible to have it. But he neglected one thing, and that was himself. If he didn't show up, the Red Queen would just have to release a licker to get rid of the crowd. But his appearance, killing the licker, made the Red Queen decide to release the other lickers at the last moment. "Take us out quickly." Seeing the lickers keep attacking around the train, Matt shouted loudly, "The sooner we get off the rails." Chad can't do it either, this is already the fastest. "If it goes further, I am afraid that the monster will not be thrown away and the train will be finished first." Bang! At this time, the rear door was slammed wildly. Damn it! Seeing this, Matt rushed over and closed the compartment door. Bang! However, as soon as the door was locked, it was blasted open. Matt didn't expect the monster to be so terrifying that it could even smash the iron door and fall to the ground. Roar! The licker roared and jumped directly at Matt. The power of this licker is so great that it can even knock open the door of the carriage. "It's over." Matt wailed, and with the speed of the attack, he couldn't dodge at all. He could only close his eyes and wait to die. Buzz. At this time, Victor took action. With a thought, the car door on the ground bounced up to block the licker. Bang, bang, bang. The licker's claws suddenly skyrocketed and attacked the city gate frantically. The door, made of stainless steel, was directly caught with holes. Humph. Victor snorted coldly, pushed and grabbed with his palm. Under the action of electromagnetic force, the door seemed to have life, directly wrapping the licker. Die. Victor clenched his fist, the electromagnetic force vibrated and the car door dented inward instantly. Puff. Blood splashed and the licker was instantly crushed by Victor. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing an ordinary licker, reward 50 points. As Victor killed the licker, 50 points were instantly credited to the account. With a wave of Victor's hand, the electromagnetic vibration wrapped the dead licker and flew out. Thanks, seeing the creeper die, Matt said with a terrified expression on his face. Victor nodded. Bang, bang, hoo-hoo. However, before they could be happy, the carriage vibrated, and two lickers appeared directly behind the carriage and rushed in along the door. Damn, that's impossible. Matt watched as two lickers rushed in again, almost not scared to death. Don't wait to play like this. Is the world crazy? When did lickers turn out to be worthless? Even there, Victor frowned as he looked at the two lickers who rushed up. He really entered the lickers' nest today, and there were so many. Although I don't understand, Victor is not easy to bully. Victor waved at the bundle of steel pipes in the middle of the carriage. Whizzing, the two sharp steel pipes were suddenly controlled by Victor and flew out, shooting directly at the two lickers. If it's in an open place, he's really not good at killing these lickers, but it's easier to deal with lickers coming in from the back door of the carriage. The door is not big, and the lickers jumping in means they have no room to hide. Pfft. The two lickers were directly headshot by the steel pipe and flew out. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing two ordinary lickers, reward 100 points. As the two lickers were killed, another 100 points were received, one step closer to the 10,000 points of the third order upgrade. Boom. Boom, boom. Before everyone was happy, there were several loud noises from the top of the carriage as if something hit. Immediately above the carriage, a large amount of metal was grabbed away, and the lickers were biting and scratching the roof frantically, vowing to lift the roof of the train and rush into the carriage to eat everyone up. Drink. Alice picked up a steel pipe and stabbed it at the open steel gap. Oh, Tilda, there was a howl of a beast from outside the car. Apparently the licker had been stabbed by Alice. It's just a pity that at this time, Alice has not yet merged with the T-virus and has neither strong power nor super power of thought. This stab only stabbed the licker and did no harm to it at all. The liquor bit and pulled at the steel pipe, and Alice was pulled towards the gap, almost being pulled out. Victor reacted quickly and hugged Alice's waist suddenly so as not to put Alice in danger. Burst. When Victor's electromagnetic force moved, the steel pipe in the liquor's mouth burst open, forming a large number of spikes which instantly shot the liquor's head. Another system prompt sounded in Victor's mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing an ordinary liquor, reward 50 points. He hugged my waist. Alice was stunned, her beautiful eyes widened in disbelief. She didn't expect that Victor would take the initiative to hug her. This made her a little lost. She didn't know what was going on, but there was a sweetness in her heart, and she hoped that Victor would continue to hold her. Are you okay? Victor didn't know Alice's thoughts. Seeing Alice in a trance, he asked in doubt. Ah, no, it's fine, thank you. Alice thought that she had just had that strange thought. Her cheeks were hot. She shook her head, tried her best to get rid of the thoughts just now and returned to calm. Stab tilde, stab tilde. At this time, the roof was lifted one by one at almost the same time, revealing a large number of lickers who frantically squeezed into the compartment. How to do? Now even Alice panicked. They all know that Victor is very powerful. If these lickers keep rushing in from the door, then Victor will be able to hold on to the advantage of the terrain. But these lickers seemed to know that the door was dangerous and even attacked the roof together. Once the roof of the car is lifted, a large number of lickers come in. No matter how powerful Victor is, he can't stop so many lickers. It's all right, it's me. Victor put down Alice and closed his eyes directly. In an instant, the magnetic field around Victor unfolded, and the electromagnetic force covered the entire carriage. Boom! The whole car shook violently. Drink. Victor roared, the blue veins burst out on his forehead, the Magneto Gene in his body vibrated wildly, and the surrounding electromagnetic force was compressed wildly. Click, click, click. Around the carriage, a large number of cracks continued to spread, and they actually surrounded the entire carriage. In the end, the entire side of the car and the roof were removed directly and suspended above the crowd. What's the matter? Why does the carriage vibrate so much? I don't know, look, there's a crack in the carriage. Mumble. Car, the carriage is flying, he doesn't want to throw the whole carriage away. Impossible, the whole body of this carriage is made of steel. Even if more than 10 lickers join forces to open it, it will take a long time. How could Victor do it alone? Feeling the vibration of the whole car, watching the steel plates around the car keep cracking, Alice, Rain, Chad, and Matt were all dumbfounded. One by one, their mouths widened, their eyes widened, and their faces were in disbelief. You know, this is a carriage. It's all made of steel plates, and even if the liquor shoots together, it's a carriage that can't be broken open in a short time. Could it be that Victor intends to dismantle this carriage and throw it away? How can that be? This is not over yet. The whole carriage turned out to be like an upside-down flower and began to roll up. Victor is going to throw them out but intends to catch them all. Roar. The liquors seemed to know the danger too, and the attacks were more violent. Tear, tear. The shattered carriages were opened one by the liquor and they rushed straight down. Victor, be careful. Alice cried out in surprise when she saw a large number of liquors rushing down, but the next moment she was stunned. Because she found that the gaps that originally accommodated the liquors had shrunk when the liquors rushed out, and the necks of the liquors who wanted to rush down were stuck. The veins on Victor's forehead burst out, and the terrifying electromagnetic force vibrated wildly. This is not over yet. The steel flowers are madly gathered together to form a cage, enclosing all the liquors in it. Bang! These liquors felt the great threat of death. Seeing that they couldn't break free, they spit out their tongue stabs directly at Victor, trying to kill Victor. Be careful. Seeing this, Alice did not hesitate, grabbed a steel pipe and rushed up, stopping in front of Victor. Bang. Alice swung the pole and slapped the thorn away. Now Victor is at a critical moment. If he is attacked and let these monsters run out, then they will all die. Bang, 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 those trapped liquors ejected tongue stabs at Victor. Alice saw a lot of tongues pierce through the sky and her eyes were a little desperate. She can't stop so much by herself. Bang, bang, bang. At this time, Matt also came to help, constantly waving the pole and resisting the attacks of those tongue stabs with Alice. It's just that even if Alice and Matt worked together, it was still difficult to resist so many tongue stabs. Chad put the automatic transmission on the train directly and wanted to come over to help, but a familiar figure stopped in front of him. Bud. Chad looked at Rain, who was standing in front of him, and called, "Click, click, click." Rain didn't respond. She twisted her neck and made a clicking sound. "Don't do that, Ray, it's me." Seeing Rain's appearance, Chad was heartbroken. Although he didn't want to admit it, his former comrade-in-arms should have been completely zombied. He kept calling, hoping she would still have a shred of reason, because he really didn't want to kill his comrades. Roar. Rain opened her eyes, her pupils were gray and white, and she couldn't see any intelligence at all. Rain ignored Chad's call at all, opened his bloody mouth, and threw himself directly at Chad. Rain was originally a special soldier. After turning into a zombie, she was stronger than ordinary people. Chad couldn't stop it at all and was thrown directly to the ground. Roar, Rain bit directly at Chad's neck. If this one bites, Chad will surely die. Panicked, Chad stuck his arm around Rain's neck, separating her. But Rain's strength is too great. Although Chad is also a special forces soldier, he belongs to the technical arms and is not strong enough. Rain's yellow teeth kept coming closer. Chad, what are you doing? Come and help, we're running out of support. Alice and Matt on the other side stopped in front of Victor, constantly fighting with those tongue thorns, and they couldn't support it anymore. However, Chad's support was delayed, and if they continued, they would all die here. Chad looked at Alice and Matt, who were in danger, and then looked at his former comrade-in-arms who wanted to eat him. Chad's eyes were tangled. She really didn't want to kill Rain, but if she didn't kill Rain, she wouldn't be able to support Alice and the others. Without his help, Alice and Matt couldn't support themselves. Victor's ability to display will be affected. Once Victor fails, more than a dozen lickers get out of trouble and none of them want to live. At this time, his life was no longer his own, is everyone's life. I'm sorry, Ray. Tears welled up in Chad's eyes and he grabbed a steel pipe next to him and stabbed Rain suddenly. Puff. Rain, who was still trying to bite Chad, trembled, her round eyes slowly closed and her body fell softly. It seemed that at this moment she was relieved. She doesn't blame Chad because she said she doesn't want to hurt any of her teammates. If she loses her mind, she hopes her comrades will give her the final blow. She doesn't want to be a zombie. I am coming. Chad pulled out the steel pipe and charged towards Victor with tears in his eyes. Form a human flesh wall directly with Alice and Matt, blocking the licker's tongue-stabbing attack. Even if someone is attacked or injured, they will not escape and will protect Victor. They only have one thought now, and that is to desperately protect Victor. Roar. The licker inside was unwilling to die inside and fought frantically, trying to break free from the steel flower formed by the train. They slammed into the steel flower crazily, and Victor could hardly control the huge force from it. Victor watched everyone desperately protect him and did not move a single bit when he was injured, and his heart was deeply shaken. At this moment, he is no longer a person, and his life is no longer a person's life. He shoulders the obsession of everyone living. He had to succeed, he had to. Drink, die to me. Victor raised a huge roar in the sky. His whole body blood was boiling. The terrifying electromagnetic force almost condensed into substance, vibrated wildly, and controlled the flower of steel to madly press inward. In the end, under the explosion of Victor, with a bang, the flower of steel suddenly gathered together directly from a huge cage to form a huge solid fruit. Puff, blood splattered, and all the liquors inside were instantly crushed into meat sauce by terrifying power. And the heads of those lickers who stuck their heads out were cut off instantly and fell down. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing an ordinary licker, reward 50 points. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing an ordinary licker, reward 50 points. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing an ordinary licker, reward 50 points. In an instant, a large amount of killing information popped up in Victor's mind, and all of a sudden Victor gained as many as 650 points. In other words, he just killed 13 lickers just now. 13 heads, scary to think about. If it wasn't for him entering the second stage and everyone desperately helping him, he would not be able to do it at all. With 650 points, plus the 200 points he already had, Victor's points reached an astonishing 850 points. Although it is still far from the advanced third level, this income is definitely extremely rich.
Hello, everyone! As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500+ novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.